And brought to you live via St. Louis, Missouri. This is Bombers Game Mike. I'm Paul D, and this afternoon is the final game of this 4-game weekday set at Busch Stadium between the visiting Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. And last night, a 10-inning thriller for the Redbirds, walking it off in 10 with the 2 RBI double by Ivan Herrera. That one was a pleasure to both watch and call. I think many of you who are watching right now and just joining me were probably part of that crowd in all likelihood. But with that said, join the Game Mike roll call. Let me know where y'all are watching or listening from. All right, let me give you the starting 9 for both the Cubs and the Cardinals here on this getaway day businessman special. Leading off in center field is Pete Crow Armstrong for the Chicago Cubs. Batting second out at DH is Seiya Suzuki. Batting third at first base is Michael Busch. Batting cleanup at third base is Alex Bregman. Batting fifth in left field is Ian Happ. Batting sixth at second base is Nico Horner. Batting seventh on right field is Michael Conforto. Batting eighth behind the dish is Carson Kelly. And batting ninth at shortstop is Dansby Swanson. Those are your starting 9 for the Northside Club. Now, for the St. Louis Cardinals this afternoon, leading off at second base, the NL rookie sensation, J.J. Witherall. Batting second at DH, getting the half day off, is Jordan Alexander Walker. Batting third at first base is Alec Burleson. Batting cleanup at catcher today is Ivan Herrera. Batting fifth in right field is Lars Nootbaar. Batting sixth at shortstop is Mason Wynn. Batting seventh out in left field is Brian Torres. At the hot corner, batting eighth is Blaze Jordan, the Rook. And batting ninth in center field is Nate Church. And those are your starting 9 for both clubs. And on the bump today for the St. Louis Cardinals is the 27-year-old right-hander Andre Pallante. In 20 starts this year, he's 11-6 with a 3.77 ERA in 112 and 1/3 innings pitched, 83 strikeouts and a whip of 1.21. His last start was probably one of his best of the year, going 7 against the Reds. I think he gave up 2 or 3 hits, no runs, couple of walks and 8 strikeouts. Andre Pallante was plenty good. The Cardinals are going to need more of that here today. And going for the visiting Chicago Cubs is the 29-year-old right-hander Javier Assad, who's actually been in and out of the rotation this year. In 17 games, Assad is 6-1 with a 3.86 ERA and 65 1/3 innings pitched. 42 strikeouts in that time and a whip of 1.12. In his last start against the Cardinals, which was up at Wrigley Field on the 5th of July, he went 4 2/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs, a couple of walks, I think 3 strikeouts or something like that. So it was not a particularly long outing, but it was clearly an effective one. And in that particular game, the Cubs would ultimately go on to win and salvage the third and final game of that series. So join the Game Mike roll call. Let me know where y'all are watching or listening from. I'd like to thank y'all very much for joining me here on the early afternoon on part of your Thursday here on Game Mike. We are about 5.5 minutes away from scheduled first pitch. And what do we have here? A $1 super from Jeff Coleman. I can't thank you enough, Jeff. It's greatly appreciated. Now, hitting leadoff here in the chat is none other than Brother Joe Breeding. Let's go Cardinals. Don't care, don't scare. Love it. Jeff Coleman, here we go again. Come on, come on. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting one. Corey, hello, hello. Good to see you, Corey. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday to you, Corey. ZZ Captain Mastiff, what time is it? The time is 1:10 p.m. Central Time. Let's go Redbirds. Hey, Paul D, how it doing? I have very little to complain about, my friend. All right, starting off today poolside before I head into work. Let's go Cardinals. Oh, starting on poolside. That's not a bad way to start, Jeff. Anthony, hi, Paul and Bobbers. Let's get another amazing win today. I'll sign up for that right now. Oh, we are getting this party started, Jeff. Don't you worry. Patrick Cochran. Hey, Paul. Hey, Game Mike Gang. Wyoming checking in. Great day to beat the Cubs. Go, Andre. Rush Dash. Hi. Hi, Rush Dash. How's everything in St. Charles? All righty. Howdy, everybody. Let's go Cards. J.M. Jones for the win. So we're about 3.5 minutes away here from scheduled first pitch. Andre Pallante on the mound. You know, he has been low-key. You know, debatably the Cardinals' best starter this year. You know, there may be guys that have better stuff. There may be guys who have had longer stretches of success in certain parts of the season to a higher degree. But Andre Pallante has been remarkably consistent for the most part. And that always makes you excited. And last night, of course, Dustin May did not get traded. Apparently, just looking back on it, it was more them congratulating them with the expectation, like, yeah, bro, this is the last time you're going to be pitching for us. It's been a minute, man, and it's been fun. I think that's what we were seeing, but it could have just as easily been the other thing. You know, that's the interesting thing here, is because when I have the game on, obviously I don't have any of the actual audio on, so there's a lot of stuff that you see happen where you don't have any context that the audio would otherwise provide. And it was just so strange because it was just so over the top for a guy that was just finishing up 5 innings of work, as good as it was. But it may be that Dustin May's last start was last night. And boy, if you follow ESPN at the moment, their sources say that Chaim Bloom is listening to offers for anybody not named Jordan Walker and J.J. Weatherholt. We'll see. We'll see. Philip, great morning. Busy time to relax and listen. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Philip. Good to see you. Jam Jones, hope everyone is doing well this day. I am not one to complain. Rush Dash, rocking and rolling, celebrated my friend's birthday yesterday and now ready for Cardinals baseball. Cheers to that, Rush Dash. I hope you had a great time. We're about a minute away, minute and a half away, more like, from scheduled first pitch. I am both behind the microphone today and on the score bug, it being in the middle of a business day. Hi from New Orleans, Louisiana. Oh, fantastic, Philip. That would explain all the references you're making to NOLA. So we're only about a little under a minute away from scheduled first pitch. Gave you the starting line for both clubs and both starters. Right now, the Cardinals have one remit. They have one mission here today, and that's to try and pull out a split. That's not easy to do. Every game against a quality club like the Cubs, which they most definitely are, is a hard-fought victory, no doubt. So we'll see where all that goes. But one thing is for sure, I am caffeinated and ready for the experience. STL Tony, good afternoon, Bolly. Go Card. Good afternoon, Tony. And let's take a look at weather here. I'm sure it hasn't been as bad lately here. So St. Louis today is 85 degrees and sunny with a humidity of 54%. So that's the story here in America's heartland. It's been worse. And, you know, interestingly enough, with some rain coming in, which is very, very welcome, to be in the mid-70s over the weekend, albeit under rainy skies. But I'll tell you, right now, I can dig that. Now, after today, they head out for a 2-city road trip. They started a 3-game set over the weekend up in Toronto at Rogers Center against the Blue Jays. And then they head to Yankee Stadium for 3 starting Monday night. Now, here is Andre Pallante. The Cards have taken the field. They're wearing their traditional home whites, tops, and bottoms with the red ball cap. Interlocking STL. Birds on the bat. Red letters and numbers. Pallante 11-6 with a 3.77 ERA. 32 walks against 83 strikeouts. He throws the four-seamer, the slider, the sinker, the knuckle curve, and the split finger. I always point out that knuckle curve, friends, and for very good reason. It's because when it's working for him, yeah, see, there you go. When it's working for him and it's doing what he wants it to do, it's a very good swing and miss pitch. Now, here is Pete Crow Armstrong. The Cubs are wearing their alternate road blue tops, gray bottoms, with the Cub and the C over the left pectoral. Red letters and numbers with the white outline, and the blue ball caps and helmets with the red C on the front. Infield defense clearly shaded towards right with Pete Crow Armstrong, who struts into the box. He nearly had the game-winning hit last night with that 2-run home run in the top of the 10th inning, save for some Cardinal heroics, capped off by a walk-off double by Ivan Herrera. Alrighty. So behind the plate today is, in fact, Ivan Herrera. He is catching Andre Pallante. He squats behind the dish. Into the box is Pete Crow Armstrong. Righty-lefty matchup. Pallante comes wide. The first pitch. Strike, 4-seam fastball down and in, and we are underway, and it's an 0-1 count. Pete Crow Armstrong hitting 284, 24 home runs this year. Now, the 0-1 pitch. Swinging strike of the 4-seam fastball up and away, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Hi, Paul, and everybody. Hey, Jimmy. It's an 0-2 count. Pete Crow Armstrong steps out of the box real quick, adjusts his batting gloves. He's in the hole 0-2 here to Andre Pallante. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the first inning, no score. Pallante watch, Pallante deals. It looks to be a knuckle curve bounce out in front of home plate. It is ruled a ball, naturally, and the count is 1-2. There we go. Now, he winds, and the 1-2 pitch. Did he swing and miss? Swinging miss, and strike 3. Down, Hackett goes PCA for the first out of the inning. Andre Pallante threw it. It appears to be a knuckle curve there, down and in. And PCA swung right over the top of that one for the first out of the inning. First strikeout of the day for Pallante. There's the whistle for you whistle enthusiasts out there. Nobody on with 1 out. Here is Seiya Suzuki, righty-righty matchup with nobody on and 1 out. Winding is Pallante, the first pitch. Strike, 4-seam fastball in her third at the knees. The count is 0-1. Coming wide is Pallante. He deals. Fouled straight back on the sinker down Broadway, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. So Suzuki hitting 272, 18 home runs, 60 RBIs in 92 games, and 839 OPS for the DH this afternoon. Now he winds the pitch. A knuckle curve down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. So I hope you all are having a wonderful Thursday afternoon. Quite a day for baseball here in the St. Louis area. Herrera sets up inside, the 1-2 pitch. A sinker well up and in and out of the zone. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hey, y'all. Find that like button on your cell or mobile device. Paul D and the channel deserve it. Thank you so much, Jeff. Back onto the bump is Pallante. He looks into Herrera. And he comes wind in the 2-2. A slider just misses the outside corner. It's ruled a ball, and the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Seiya Suzuki. Now he winds the pitch. Swinging strike three. Dropped there by Herrera. He throws down to first. That'll complete the strikeout for the second out of the inning. So a couple of strikeouts hacking there for Pallante. Torres in left, Church in center, Dupar in right, Jordan at third, Wynn at short, Witherhold at second, Burleson at first. Ivan Herrera is behind the dish and battery mate to Andre Pallante, who's on the mound. That's your defensive alignment today for the Cardinals. Now, here is Michael Busch, righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch, hit to the right side and into right field for a two-out base hit on the first pitch from Pallante to Michael Busch, and the Cubs have a runner on first with two out here in the top of the first inning. MHK, hi Paul, let's get a win. Let's get a win exactly, I agree. And hello to you too. So Michael Busch is on first, following that two out single to right. Now here is Alex Bregman, righty-righty matchup. Runner leads off first. From the stretch is Pallante setting up the Birds, the first pitch. A slider up and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Alex Bregman hitting .245, 11 home runs, 46 RBIs in 105 games, a .713 OPS. From the stretch is Pallante. Runner leads the 1-0. Fouled over towards the Cardinal dugout, giving chase in foul territory is Burleson. He makes the stretch, and it's just beyond his grasp onto the netting for the first strike. He tried tracking it down, couldn't get there. It was out of the man's reach, and he's a big man. So it's a 1-1 count here to Alex Bregman. This series, 8 for 14 with a home run, 2 RBIs, and 5 extra base hits. He's had a big one. He has the shades on this afternoon, even at bat. Pallante sets at the Birds. Runner leads. He deals. A slider up and in, rather a sinker upstairs, and the count is 2-1. A couple whistles already for Pallante. 14 pitches so far here in the top frame. He comes set. Now the 2-1. Hit out there in foul territory. Giving chase once again is Burleson, but it goes a row beyond the Cardinals dugout, and the count is 2-2. So where will Pallante go here with this 2-2 pitch? I do not know. He's thrown a number of knuckle curves so far. That's what he got PCA's striking out swinging on. Michael Busch is at first with 2 out. It's a 2-2 count. Pallante sets at the Birds from the stretch. The 2-2. Hit to the left side, picked up by Wynn at short, tosses it to second for the force for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 left on. After 1/2 inning of play, it is the Chicago Cubs nothing and the St. Louis Cardinals coming to bat. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Score, let's go to the bottom of the first. Let's go to the chat. Okay. There we go indeed, folks. Let me clear this off. There we go. And there we are. Bottom of the first inning. Due up for the Cardinals in the bottom of the first. J.J. Wetherall, Jordan Alexander Walker, and Alec Burleson due up. And if they get to it, last night's hero, Ivan Herrera. Oh, boy. I feel like I just stopped doing this. You know, it's weird. Day games after night games, I talk about it for players. You kind of feel it a little bit, too, when you're calling the game. Because it's obviously not a relaxing experience. It's a fun experience. You're happy to do it. But days kind of blend together sometimes, the calling a day game after a night game. That's the story there. I have a good feeling about this game. Let's go Cards. I hope so, John Harding. I really do. a fine Thursday afternoon here in America's heartland in late July. All right, we're back here for the bottom of the first inning. They will face off against a 29-year-old right-hander, Javier Assad. J.J. Weatherall followed by Jordan Walker and Alec Burleson. Newt, I believe, is getting part of the day off. Yeah, no, correction, he's out in right field. Javier Assad, 6-1 with a 3.86 ERA, 16 walks against 42 strikeouts. Righty-lefty matchup, the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball down and into J.J. Weatherall, and the count is 0-1. Now, the 0-1 pitch. Hit to the right side, picked up there by the second baseman. He throws to first in time to get to J.J. Weatherall for the first out of the inning. So J.J. grounds out 4-3 for the first out. He's been doing a lot of grounding out to second the last couple of days. Now here is Jordan Walker. 282, 22 home runs, 78 RBIs in 106 games, and 844 OPS. Righty-righty matchup, the first pitch. Strike, sinker on the inner third at the knees. The count is 0-1. Nobody on with one out. Bottom of the first inning, no score. The 0-1 pitch. Foul back on the four-seam fastball down Broadway, and the count is 0-2. Infield defense very much shaded towards left with the righty Jordan Walker. He gets back into the box. It's an 0-2 count. He's in the hole here, 0-2 to Javier Assad. He winds, and the 0-2. Fouled back on the sweeper away. That should help. And the count is no balls and two strikes. Now, the 0-2 pitch. A sweeper away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Oh, yeah. Dry as a whistle, Philip. Dry as a whistle. Now, the 1-2 pitch. Fouled into near the Cardinals on deck circle. Giving chase there is the catcher, Carson Kelly, but it goes about 6 rows deep, and the count remains 1-2. With the exception of my caffeine, of course. So nobody on, one out, bottom of the first inning, no score. It's a 1-2 count here to Jordan Alexander Walker. Assad comes set. He winds. Now the 1-2 offering. A sweeper well away and out of the zone. The count comes even at 2-2. And there's John Rooney in the KMOX booth. Does the first 3 and the last 3. The pitch. Called strike 3. Sinker whispers over the black of the outside corner at the knees for the second out of the inning. Jordan Walker gets caught in the observatory, gets the backwards K. Happen left, PCA in center, Conforto in right, Bregman at third, Swanson at short, Horner at second, Michael Bush at first, and Carson Kelly behind the dish and battery mate to Javier Assad, who's on the mound. That's your defensive lineman this afternoon for the Chicago Cubs. Now here is Burleson, the first pitch. A curveball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Now the 1-0 pitch. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play, and the count is 1-1. White Shadow, what up, Paulie D? Not much, White Shadow. How you been? How's it going? Good day for baseball. Nobody on with 2 out. Couple pops of the rosin bag there for Assad. He gets back onto the bump. In the box is Burleson. He winds. Now the 1-1. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. Alec Burleson hitting 285, 15 home runs, 71 RBIs in 107 games at 807 OPS. The 2-1 pitch. A changeup up and away and out of the zone. The count is 3-1. Burley is back into the box. Looking in is Assad. He winds. Now the 3-1. And there's a fly ball out to right field. He's underneath it. He makes the catch, does Conforto, for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks. Nobody left on. After one full inning of play, it is scoreless going to the top of the second inning. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. All scoreless going top of 2. And Lewis, on my way to the game. Nice. Ethan, I've showed up. Did we win last night? I turned it off after the 2-run homer. Yes, they did win. A lesson. That's the reason why you don't turn it off before the game's actually finished, Ethan. Yeah, a walk-off double for Ivan Herrera. They won it 3-2. So everyone here is having a wonderful Thursday afternoon. Due up for the Cardinals, due up for the Cubs, Ian Happ, Nico Horner, and Michael Conforto, so 5, 6, 7 in their order. It does? It's not any different. I appreciate the compliment, Justin, but I think it's the same as last night. All right, we wait at the top of the second inning. Andre Pallante will be going out there for his second frame. Done quite nicely in the top of the first inning. He gave up the 2-out single to Michael Busch, but he got stranded there, and life moved on. But yeah, Andre Pallante. Oh, Tuesday night. Gotcha. Now here is Andre Pallante. He's back out onto the bump. Here is the lefty Ian Happ, righty-lefty matchup. Top of the second inning. He comes wide, and the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball outside corner thigh high, and the count is 0-1. Pallante moving rather quickly. He winds. He deals. A knuckle curve down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. That knuckle curve, man, when it's working, it's a serious weapon. He's back onto the bump. Happ is back into the box. Now he comes wide. And the 1-1 pitch. A knuckle curve down and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. Very much a field pitch for him. You can definitely tell its quality varies a fair amount from game to game. Or start to start, really. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the second inning, no score. Infield defense shooted towards right with the lefty Happ. The 2-1. Hit to the right side, picked up on the ground, raging to his right is Wetherall. He throws to first in time to get Happ going down the line. So Ian Happ grounds out 4-3 for the first out. So 1 out. A tidy at-bat for Andre Pallante. That was his 20th pitch of the afternoon. Now here is Nico Horner. This afternoon's second baseman. Righty-righty matchup. Nobody on with 1 out. Top of the second inning, no score. He comes wide, and the first pitch. Strike, sinker on the inner third below the belt. The count is 0-1. Oh, Ethan, I think you'd have to get more. You have to give up more than that for Reed Detmers. And on top of that, I mean, why would the Angels do it? They have the worst record in Major League Baseball, or the second worst record. The 0-1. Swinging strike on the knuckle curve down and away, and the count is 0-2. Because they're not competing. May is going to be gone at the end of the year. The teams that are going to give you the best return are ones that are actually in competition, that are, really in the run this year, that will overpay for them. Now the 0-2 pitch. Foul it off, just spoils that slider away, and the count remains 0-2. So going to a last place team in the AL West is not exactly the most likely destination. That, and I would want a lot more for Reed Detmers if I were the Angels than a guy that I'm going to lose at the end of the year anyway to free agency. Now he winds in the 0-2 pitch. Hit on up the middle, picked up on a hop by Pallante on the mound. He throws to first, picking up on a hop at first base is Burleson for the second out of the inning. It's an interesting thought, but right now, the market is so wide open, Ethan, at the moment. They don't even know what the market is at this point. There are some people that are even saying, well, it might not be as hot a seller's market as we think. So, I'm just content to sit back and wait. Now, the pitch to Conforto. A four-seam fastball inside and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Conforto hitting .242 on the year. Here's the pitch. A four-seam fastball away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. Infield defense somewhat shaded towards right with the lefty Conforto. Now he winds and the 2-0. Strike. Slider on the inner third thigh high, and the count is 2-1 strike. He comes wind. He deals. Hit to the right side. Picked up by Weather on the hop. Ranging to his right. He throws to first in time for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks. Nobody left on. After 1.5 innings of play, it is scoreless going to the bottom of the second inning. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. All scoreless going bottom of 2. Deja vu. I don't know what expectation I have that it will have anything similar to last night. But I surely was saying no runs, no hits, no walks, nobody left on. A great deal last night for both teams. Andre Pallante seems like he's sharp at the moment. Throwing quality strikes, not just simply strikes, but quality ones. Not much solid contact so far. You'll take it. You'll definitely take it. Honestly, Ethan, I don't really know. Chances are Chaim Bloom will probably take the opportunity if the market is right on a particular player. I take it you're referring to KMOX. That if he can get the right price on a player that he is willing to depart with, he'll probably do it. Is it possible that they could use the opportunity to bring some current major league talent that could help in return in the bullpen? Well, that'd be awfully nice. I know I've heard some rumors swirling around about the Yankees being in on Ivan Herrera, and granted, they do need a right-handed bat behind the plate. What I don't think Yankee fans are prepared for when it comes to Ivan Herrera, his bat would work just fine in that lineup. There's no question about it. But boy, I can hear the belly aching already when they find out very shortly after arrival that when he is catching, he has little to no ability to throw guys out on the bases. Yeah, I could definitely hear Sports Talk Radio cranking 24/7 about that. All right, Javier Assad is back onto the bump. Bottom of the second inning, no score. Now the first pitch inside a sinker. The count is 1-0 to Ivan Herrera, last night's hero. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning. He comes wind and the 1-0. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0 to Ivan Herrera. Herrera's hitting .246, 12 home runs, 46 RBIs in 107 games, a 749 OPS. It's a righty-righty matchup. He comes wind and the 2-0. Strike, sinker on the outside quarter above the knee as the count is 2-1. Herrera steps out of the box briefly, tightens up those batting gloves. Now the 2-1 offering. Hit to the left side, picked up by Bregman on a hop, charging forward. He throws across his body to first in time to get Herrera for the first out of the inning. Now let's see. Jeff, afternoon all just finished. weeding Q-Man's tomato, strawberry, and blackbird beds. Thought I would catch the game before starting the burn pile. Y'all look wonderful today. Salute to you all. Well, thank you, Jeff, and please do send our best to Q-Man. Now, here's Lars Nootbaar, the first pitch. A four-seam fastball away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Lars Nootbaar hitting .248, 3 home runs, and 15 RBIs in 44 games. And here's the pitch. A four-seam fastball up and away. However, it looks like, did time get called here? And he decided to deliver it anyway. So it's still a 1-0 count. The things you see. Now, the 1-0 pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball outside corner. The count is 1-1. Because I can tell you this, Jeff, that Q-Man is very much missed here. And we all hope he's doing well. He brings so much to this. Now, the 1-1 pitch. Foul tipped on the curveball in, and the count is... Apparently, that initial pitch did count, so it's actually 2-2. The score bug, folks, I tell you. Now, the 2-2 offering. Foul tipped, rolls over towards the Cardinal dugout. The count is 2-2. I would say there's a very large possibility, Ethan, that Lars Nootbaar gets traded. A left-handed, healthy outfield bat. He's going to be up there in terms of interest. The 2-2 offering. A sinker down and in and out of the zone. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now, the 3-2 offering. Ball 4 on the sinker in, so Lars Nootbaar works a 1-out walk, and the Cardinals have a runner on first with 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Richard Talley. Hello, Paul. Hi, Richard Talley. How's it going? Ron Lyle. Good afternoon, Paul, in chat. Hopefully we can get a win streak started. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Good to see you, Ronald. Cheers to the Green Mountain State. Yep, that Millennium Hotel is getting taken down piece by piece. Apparently, the rotating mechanism that used to allow it to spin is going into a local museum. Now, here is Mason Wynn. Righty-righty matchup. From the stretch is Assad. He throws over back in time with head first light is Lars Nootbaar. So we await the first pitch of the at-bat. Mason Wynn hitting .241. 25 pitches so far for Assad. Assad comes to the set. The first pitch. A sinker just outside, ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. Now he comes set, the 1-0. A cutter well away and out of the zone. A very fine stop there by Carson Kelly on the backhand. Make sure it didn't go all the way to the brick wall backstop. 4 home runs, 44 RBIs, and 100 games for Mason Wynn. A .237 OPS. Now, coming sets Assad, the 2-0. A four-seam fastball well upstairs, and the count is 3-0. Well, what are they putting there, Ethan? I guess is the question. Back into the box is Mason Wynn. Now the 3-0 offering. Strike, sinker on the outer third. Right about the knees. The count is 3-1. Nootbaar leads off first with 1 out. It's a 3-1 count, bottom of the second inning, no score. Assad comes set. The 3-1. Ball 4 on the sinker upstairs, so a pair of consecutive walks with 1 out by Javier Assad, and the Cardinals have runners on first and second with only 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Now coming up is the left fielder this afternoon, Brian Torres. On deck is the rook Blaze Jordan. So 7 and 8 here, and the pitching coach for the Northsiders coming out there to have a word with Javier Assad. I tell you, of all the last names, every time I hear the name or I hear myself say it or I read Assad, I'm thinking about the former Syrian dictators, not Javier Assad, the starting pitcher, well, the sometime starting pitcher for the Cubs. It's a little weird. All right, the powwow out in the mound has been broken up. Here comes the lefty Brian Torres. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. As he slowly climbs into the box. Now, righty-lefty matchup from the stretch. The first pitch from Assad. Foul down the first baseline and out of play. And the count is 0-1. Now, runners lead from the stretch is Assad. The 0-1 to Torres. Swinging strike on the curveball, and the count is 0-2. He actually might have got a piece of that thing. Brian Torres is hitting .231 with 4 home runs and 12 RBIs. Coming sets Assad. The 0-2. Hit to the left side and through the hole into left field for a base hit. Coming home is Newpar. He will score, and that will give the Cardinals an early 1-0 lead on the RBI single to left by Brian Torres, and the Cardinals now have a 1-0 lead. Well, that's a start. There are still runners on first and second with 1 out. It appeared to be a sinker on the outside corner. He just went the other way with the big open hole on the left side. Brian Torres is not picky where he gets his RBIs from or his hits were generally. Jeff Coleman with the $1 super. Now the first pitch to Blaze Jordan. Sinker strike, inner third above the knees. The count is 0-1. Thank you again so much, Jeff. So 1-0 Cardinals here against Javier Assad. It's very much appreciated. From the stretch. Now the 0-1 offering. A sinker inside and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Small ball, gotta love it. That was definitely small ball. That was making do with your opportunities. Runners on first and second. It's a 1-1 count. The 1-1 from Assad. Strike, four-seam fastball, outer third below the belt. And count is 1-2. Give that the proper thumbs up. There we go. Now the 1-2 pitch. Hit on out there into right field. Conforto is under it. He makes the catch, tosses it back in. Tagging from second to third is Mason Wynn. So it's in fact a sacrifice fly there off of the bat of Blaze Jordan. And the Cardinals have runners on first and second with 2 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Mason Wynn has been doing an excellent job on that, picking up, advancing on sacrifice flies in ways that other base runners do not. Got to give him credit for that. Now here is Nate Church. Righty-lefty matchup. Nate's hitting .224 this year. Runners on first and third with 2 out. 1 already in. It's a 1-0 Cardinals lead. Now the first pitch, Nate. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Good to go, Jeff. You be safe. Do your thing. We'll be here. Now, from the stretch is Assad, the 1-0. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball upstairs. The count is 1-1. Well, thank you, Rod Lyle. Hey, chat, let's see if we can get Paul to 150 likes before the 5th inning. The bats are back. Oh, it's good to see you, Harold. It's a 1-1 count. Javier Assad from the stretch. He throws over to first. Back in time with the head first slide is Brian Torres. The bats come back. Hi, everybody. Let's go Cardinals. Woo, woo. Love it. So runners lead off first and third with 2 out. It's a 1-1 count. Righty-lefty matchup. Nate Church is in the box. Now the 1-1 pitch. Swinging strike and the four-seam fastball upstairs. Cannot catch up with Assad's cheddar. Counts 1-2. Infield defense very much shaded towards right with the lefty Church. Alex Bregman is effectively the only one on the left side of the infield. Let's see what Nate Church tries to do with that. 40 pitches so far for Assad. He comes set at the stretch. The 1-2. Swinging strike 3. Down hacking goes Nate Church for the third and final out of the inning. 1 run and 2 left on after 2 full innings of play. It is 1-0 Cardinals going to the top of the third inning. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying your afternoon here on Game Mike and my call of Redbird action, and you think I deserve it, please do leave a like. It's helping this growing channel continue to grow. That is beyond question. You do more good with that like button of yours on the screen than you could know. And if you're not already subscribed and you like what you see, well, hit subscribe. A wonderful community here on Game Mike. We have a ton of fun. With that said, I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. 1-0 Cardinals going top of 3. Jazz Wolf. Good to see you, Jazz. He has punched his admission ticket of $2 super. Thank you so much, Jazz Wolf. Our nomadic Cardinal fan from the Pacific, well, in the Pacific Northwest. So, Andre Pallante will be going out there for his third frame of work. Cardinals have themselves on the board with that RBI single to left off the bat of Brian Torres. Cheers to that, Harold. Thank you again, Jeswell. Very generous and very much appreciated. And very helpful, thank you. We'll see where Pallante goes. Now, due up for the Cubs in the top of the third inning is Carson Kelly, Dansby Swanson, and Pete Crow Armstrong. So 8, 9, and 1 in the north side order. So far, Andre Pallante, 2 innings pitched, a hit. No runs, no walks, and a couple of strikeouts. He has thrown 28 pitches in 2 innings. 18 of them have been strikes. Dennis, did we ever decide who Made was traded to? We'll get to that in a moment. Now, the first pitch to Kelly. There's a fly ball into center field, and it falls in for a leadoff single here in the top of the third inning by Carson Kelly, and the Cubs have a runner on first, nobody out. So, Dennis, what we were seeing last night, without the audio context, naturally, is all the big, over-the-top congratulations he was getting in the dugout after he finished was due to the expectation that it was the last time he was going to pitch in a Cardinal uniform, in all likelihood. He didn't get traded, not yet, but that's apparently what we saw. Now, here is Dansby Swanson, the 9-hitter. Righty-righty matchup, runner on first, the first pitch. A sinker inside and out of the zone. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Jazz Wolf with an additional $2 super. Friday at Rogers against my other fave is messed up. Now, he comes set. The 1-0. Hit to the left side. Picked up there at third. He throws the second one on to first. A double play. So Dansby Swanson grounds out into the 5-4-3 double play. Turned initially there by Blaze Jordan at third. And that is the first and second out of the inning. Double play ball, the pitcher's best friend. A very nifty play there, ranged to his left by Blaze Jordan. And a very close play at first on the relay throw. But both of them are erased. Now here is Pete Crow Armstrong. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Oh, you're a big Jays fan. Here's the pitch. A slider up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Well, believe me, it'll be equally as messed up as to when the series on Monday starts, I can assure you. But this is a Cardinal channel, and thus it shall remain. Righty-lefty matchup. Common Wine Pallante, the 1-0. Hit to the right side, and it is a fair ball. Hits on the inlet there out in right field. Picked up by Newpar, and Pete Crow Armstrong has himself a stand-up 2-out double here in the top of the third inning. Just jumped on that first pitch. It was down and in. If we've learned anything in this series, certainly after last night, don't play around unless you really know what you're doing. Down and in to Pete Crow Armstrong. Now, here is Seiya Suzuki. It'll be a righty-righty matchup. Yeah, Harold, there are many, many who will join you in that camp. "33 pitches so far for Pallante. He comes set at the Birds. Runner leads off second. The first pitch is Suzuki. A sinker in and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. That's a good way of thinking about it, Jeswell. Suzuki's back into the box. He's 0 for 1. Setting at the Birds is Pallante. The 1-0. A slider down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2 balls and no strikes. Now he looks into Herrera. PCA leads off second. It's a 2-0 count. He sets at the Birds and steps off the rubber momentarily. So we get to wait a little longer for the 2-0. Now this will be an interesting road trip. Going to Canada and then New York City. Now he comes set. And the 2-0. Hit to the left side, picked up by Wynn just to the left of second. He throws to first in time to get Suzuki for the third and final out of the inning. So, 2 hits, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, and 1 left on. After 2.5 innings of play, it is 1-0 Cardinals going to the bottom of the third inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. 1-0 going bottom of 3. Let's go back to the chat. Hey, it's DJ Nick Fly. Howdy, Paul in chat. Happy Thursday. Let's keep the victory train rolling. You know it, my friend. It's great to see you as always. I'm glad to hear you enjoyed your trip down to Florida, both Disney World and St. Louis by the Sea. So Andre Pallante looking pretty solid. Pretty solid. 3 shutout innings. You know, he gave up a couple of hits, but that double play ball did wonders, no doubt. And it's a 1-0 lead for the Cardinals going bottom of 3. Yeah. I actually really like Destin. I've been there a couple of times. A really nice kind of, Gulf side retreat. White sand beaches, all that kind of fun stuff. And, I'm generally well disposed to the Panhandle in general. All right, we are back here for the bottom of the third inning. 2 up for the Cardinals, Weatherholt, Walker, and Burleson. 1, 2, 3 in the Cardinal order. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup with J.J. Weatherholt. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to second in his first at-bat. Back onto the bump is Javier Assad. He winds, and the first pitch to J.J. A curveball well away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. 251, 15 home runs, 40 RBIs. The 1-0 pitch. A 4-seam fastball inside and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the third inning, 1-0 Cardinals. The 2-0 pitch. Swinging strike of the 4-seam fastball down Broadway, and the count is 2-1. Assad is back onto the bump. He moves quickly. He pitches like he's double parked. Now the 2-1. A changeup up and away and out of the zone. The count is 3 balls and 1 strike. I must say, that arch popping up over right center field is one of the greatest sights in any ballpark in baseball. He comes set. The 3-1. Strike, sinker on the inside quarter thigh high, and the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of J.J. Weatherholt. This is his 104th game this year as a professional. He comes set, the 3-2. Called strike three, a sinker down and in for the first out of the inning. J.J. Weatherall goes down in the observatory for the first out. Hey, Philip, I'm glad you're digging it down there in Nolans. And the scorebook by Cardinals.tv is brought to you by Menards. I hear you say big money. Now here is Jordan Walker. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And the first pitch from Assad. Check swing on the slider down and away. Did he hold up? Yes, he did. And the count is 1-0. Next pitch will be Assad's 49th. He winds and deals. Hit to the left side and into left field. Through the hole between short and third for a one-out single. And the Cardinals have a runner on first with one out here in the bottom of the third inning. That looked to be a four-seam fastball that was middle, maybe slightly away, and Jordan Walker just found the hole with that thing. He's now 1 for 2. Now here is Alec Burleson. Next pitch is going to be Assad's 50th in 2 1/3 innings of work. Righty-lefty matchup. Runner leads off first and the first pitch. Hit to the right side and into center field for a base hit. Staying right there at second is Jordan Walker. And Alec Burleson has himself a one-out single, and the Cardinals have runners on first and second with one out here in the bottom of the third inning. Well, old school crap, I completely concur. Nick Holmes, I'm going to Packers training camp tomorrow. That sounds like a lot of fun. Send my love to love. Now here is Ivan Herrera. It's a righty matchup. He's 0 for 1. And the first pitch. Hit to the left side. Picked up by Brigham on a hop. He throws the second one on to first. An inning-ending double play. And that will do it. So, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, and 2 left on. After 3 full innings of play, it is 1-0 Cardinals going to the top of the 4th inning. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. Well, there's a way to kill a rally. Am I right, folks? Oof. Not that I can get on Ivan Herrera. He gave us one of the best moments of the year last night. And I'm not going to take that away from him. I'm not going to get on him too much here. It's just amazing sometimes when you have to stop and think how baseball is so much the professional sports, of course. In general, is that what have you done for me lately? As in, what have you done for me in about the last 45 minutes? White Shadow, wow, with a $20 super. Oh, White Shadow, that is remarkably generous. Thank you so much. I mean, you, for quite some time now, have given quite a lot to myself and this channel, and I can't thank you enough. Your supreme generosity is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Ivan the Not So Terrible. Yeah, seriously, White Shadow. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate the sentiment, Ron. Justin Beasley. Saying Justin Beasley things right there, which is to say dead on. Hey, White Shadow, I'm happy to do it. I always find it interesting how people consume a game and what parts of life they do so. And if we're able to keep you some company at work, keep you entertained, well, hey, I mean, I've done my job. All right, we're back here for the top of the 4th inning. Bush, Bregman, and Happ. 3, 4, and 5 in the Cubs order. Pallante's out there for his 4th frame. 1-0 Cardinals in the top of the 4th inning. Righty-lefty matchup here against Michael Bush, who's 1 for 1. And the first pitch. Hit to the right side on the ground. Picked up by Weatherall. He throws to first in time to get Michael Bush. So Michael Bush grounds out for 3 for the first out here in the top of the 4th inning. Bombers game mic with Big Paul Diaz where it's at. You know the score, Harold. Literally. Choir guy. Can the Redbirds finally be coming out of their slump? Stay tuned. Season not over yet. Absolutely. Now, here is Alex Bregman. He's 0 for 1. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch. A four-seam fastball inside. Roll the ball. The count is 1-0. Ron Lyle, I'm at work, and you are definitely keeping me entertained. Now, I'm very pleased to hear that, Ron. No question. Pallante looks in. He comes wide, and the first pitch. Now, the second pitch is a slider down and in. And the count is 2-0. I told you, folks, this was going to happen eventually. Now, he comes set. He winds, and the 2-0. Strike, slider on the outside corner, and the count is 2-1. Yeah. Yeah. My furry little mascot. On down. Now, the 2-1 offering. Foul back on the sinker in, and the count comes even at 2-2. Yeah. His name is Cy, and given the context, you might think it's for Cy Young. It is not. It is short for Cyrus the Great. Given his prodigious size, it's quite fitting. Now, he looks in. He winds, and the 2-2 to Bregman. A knuckle curve bounced out in front of home plate. It is a ball, and the count is 3-2. So nobody on with one out. Top of the fourth inning. 1-0 Cardinals. Next pitch is going to be Pallante's 48th. He winds, and the 3-2. Hit to the left side and into left center field for a base hit. Picked up out there and left. Coming around first and going into second. Here's the throw. Here's the play. And he's in 2 seconds sliding with a one-out double is Alex Bregman. And the Cubs have a runner on second with 1 out here in the top of the fourth inning. You going to test it again, Si? You're going to end up getting held again. All right. We can play this game. All right, runner on second with 1 out. Here is Ian Happ. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. Runner on second with 1 out following the double by Bregman. Righty-lefty matchup. Pallante comes set. Runner leads. Now the first pitch. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball on the inside corner, and the count is 0-1. Stepping out of the box briefly is Ian Happ. Tighten up his batting gloves. He's 0 for 1 with the ground out. 218, 18 home runs, 47 RBIs in 104 games, a 751 OPS. Bregman leads off second with 1 out. It's an 0-1 count. Coming set is Pallante at the Birds, the 0-1 offering. There's a fly ball out to right field. Going back is Jordan Walker in front of the wall. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Going from second to third on the sac fly is Alex Bregman. He's coming home on the overthrow. Here's the throw. Here's the play at home. And he is safe at home. And it is a tie ball game. Oh, what? That is some base running there by Alex Bregman. He tagged from second to third on the deep fly ball to right. It was, in fact, Lars Nootbaar who was out there. There was an overthrow to the cutoff man, and when he got to third, he decided to challenge it and come home. Nootbaar was just trotting out there for a few seconds. I think he forgot that there was only 1 out and not 2, and Bregman saw his opportunity with the additional overthrow, and that will tie the game. So a rare mental lapse there by Lars Nootbaar. There are now nobody on with 2 out. It is a 1-1 ball game. Oh, boy, Lars Nootbaar there lost track of the outs, it would appear, based on how he was handling the situation. Now here's Nico Horner. He's 0 for 1. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch. Hit on right back up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Picked up on up there and tossed back in. So Nico Horner's now 1 for 2 with that 2-out single to center. A rare mental lapse by Lars Nootbaar in right field. The reason I say that it was a mental lapse, is when he caught it, he kept trotting, and very gingerly, so almost like he had all the time in the world, precisely like they do when you catch the third out. But clearly, there was only one out, and then catching it was the second. So that is Paul D's assessment of the situation. Good to see you, Trisk. Oh, well, thank you, Trisk. You're very kind. Now, the pitching coach is out there to have a little chat with Pallante. Home plate umpire has broken it up. So Nico Horner's on first following the 2-out single. And here's the lefty, Michael Conforto. That's all right, Sinbin. Oh, that's very kind of you, Sinbin. Thank you so much. It's good to see you here again. Now, here is Michael Conforto. Righty-lefty matchup from the stretch is Pallante with Horner at first. He throws over to first, and pulling it in on a really bad throw there, actually, by Pallante is Alec Burleson. Make sure it doesn't go into the stands. And the count, there is no count yet. They haven't thrown the first pitch of the at-bat. Plate appearance, I suppose. Runner leads off first. It's all tied at 1. More than already in for the Cubs here in the top of the 4th. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike on the 4-seam fastball, down and away, and the count is 0-1. Oh, you're very welcome. Luck has been wished. Now, Pallante sets, and the 0-1. Knuckle curve up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. So Pallante's doing more of his standard bit. Doesn't walk very many guys and strike out very many guys. Next pitch is going to be his 49th and 3 2/3. He comes set at the Birds. Runner leads. Here's the pitch. Hit to the right side. Picked up by Burleson. And actually picked up by Weatherall. Covering is Pallante. He takes the throw. He beats him to the bag for the third and final out of the inning. However, one very big run entirely built on the legs of Alex Bregman, and we are all tied at 1 going to the bottom of the 4th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. All tied at 1 going bottom of 4. Let's go to the chat. All right. Yes, indeed he is. Oh. Hi, Cy. Keeping me company. Yeah. Big kitty. So, you got to give credit to Alex Bregman there. The double he hit, he stretched into a double. For a lot of other players, they might have just been satisfied with taking the single to left center. Took a while for Brian Torres to get to the ball. He ended up on second. Then took advantage of Lars Nootbaar, seemingly forgetting how many outs there were, and managed to get from second to home in what started out to be a sacrifice fly. There's no question who the number 1 player this series has been for the Cubs going into the 4th game of this 4-game set. That's it's impressive stuff. Credit where credit is due. Due up for the Redbirds in the bottom of the 4th inning is going to be the aforementioned Lars Nootbaar, Mason Wynn, and Brian Torres. So 5, 6, and 7 in the Redbird order. Well, thank you, Sinbin. Yes, I had it brought down a bit because it was getting I was getting a little bit too long in the face, but I've had a beard now for almost 6 years. I can't imagine being without it. Every once in a while, take it down. Sometimes I'll forget, get a little bit long in the face, but thank you. All right, we're back here for the bottom of the 4th inning. Here is Lars Nootbaar, righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch from Assad. A changeup up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Lars Nootbaar walked in his first plate appearance. Now the 1-0 pitch. Fouled back on the 4-seam fastball in the inner third, thigh high, and the count is 1-1. Assad has bent, but he hasn't truly broken. He's He is quite durable, quite resilient. Now the 1-1. Strike. Uncle Charlie on the outside corner, thigh high, and the count is 1-2. Yeah, I used to have a goatee and mustache, but the beard went white. I'm old. I shaved to look more youthful. Fair enough. The 1-2. Called strike 3. A sinker on the inside corner at the knees for the first out of the inning. Lars Dupar goes down in the observatory for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Yeah, I begin seeing little individual whiskers going white myself. We'll see where it goes. Now here's Mason Wynn, first plate appearance walked. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch from Assad. Strike, slider on the outside corner, thigh high, and the count is 0-1. Mason Wynn walked, 241, 4 home runs, 44 RBIs, and 100 games even. Now the 0-1 offering. A four-seam fastball just off away, ruled a ball. The count is 1-1. Ah, well, thank you. From one streamer to another, I'm glad you appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Now Wynn is back into the box. He winds. Assad deals. Hit to the right side into right field for a one-out base hit off the bat of Mason Wynn, and the Cardinals have a runner on first with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Edgar Williams. Few of our players are infected with sleepy on the job, just syndrome as Chief Marmol. Well, we all know he takes the nap from about the 2nd to the 6th inning. Okay. Now the first pitch to Torres. Foul down the first base side and out of play. Come on, Reese. That's not exactly appropriate. Come on. Now here's Brian Torres. He's back into the box. It's an 0-1 count. Runner leads off first. Assad from the stretch. The 0-1. Fouled back on the sinker down and in, and the count is 0-2. No, it's not. Don't be gross. Now he comes set. The 0-2. A sweeper bounced out in front of home plate. Carson Kelly blocked it very well, and the count is 1-2. Now he throws over to first. Back in time with the head first slide is Mason Wynn. He leads off first. Coming set is Assad. Now the 1-2. Hit on out there in the left field and in for a base hit. So another single to left by Brian Torres. And now the Cardinals have runners on first and second with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. A nice piece of hitting there by Brian Torres. Just kind of an inside-out swing on a ball on the inner third. Thank you, Sinbin. You know what I'm talking about, Sinbin. You've experienced such things yourself. Foul back on the sinker up and in to Blaze Jordan. The count is 0-1. Blaze Jordan is 0 for 1 this afternoon. Runners on first and second with 1 out. Now he comes set. The 0-1. A sinker down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Now, coming set is Assad. The 1-1. Hit on out there into right field. Going over is the right fielder, and it slices foul into the stands. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blaze Jordan gets back into the box. Assad comes set. The 1-2 offering. A cutter well away and out of the zone. The count is 2-2. Blaze Jordan's 0 for 1 with a flyout. Assad comes set at the chest. Now the 2-2. A sinker down and away and out of the zone. The count is 3-2. On deck is Nate Church. It's a full count. Runners lead off first and second with 1 out. Coming set is Assad. Now the 3-2 offering. Foul tipped out there, rolling shortly, going toward short very slowly. He throws to first in time to get Blaze Jordan. Both of the runners move up 90 feet. So that ground out to short, slow as it was a productive out. And now the Cardinals have runners on second and third with 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Yeah, that was a slowly developing play. Dansby Swanson did well to come up on the thing, charging it, throw across his body to get Blaze Jordan. Now, here is Nate Church. He's 0 for 1. Righty-lefty matchup. Runners on second and third with 2 out. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike on the 4-seam fastball outside, and the count is 0-1. Now, he comes set. The 0-1. Fouled straight back in the 4-seam fastball up and in, and the count is 0-2. Church is back in the box. Runners lead off second and third. The 0-2. Swinging strike 3 on the Uncle Charlie. Down and away for the third and final out of the inning. So, no runs and 2 left on. We head to the top of the 5th inning. It is all tied at 1. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my call of Redbird action this afternoon here on Game Mike, you haven't done so already, please do leave a like if you feel I've deserved it. It's definitely helping out this channel a ton, getting this thing out to more Cardinal fans who need all the help they can get following this team every day. Does a lot of good. And if you're not subscribed already, and it's your first time here, or you've been back multiple times and you're not subscribed yet, and you like what you see in here, well, hit subscribe. Be great to have you back. With that said, all tied at 1, go to the top of the 5th. Good afternoon, Russell. Choir guy, the heat must affect them. I'm sure to some degree it probably does. I mean, obviously they're very well taken care of for the most part, you know, in terms of just the physiology aspect of it. Professional athletes with a completely professional training staff, top of their game. But there's very little sometimes that can be done when it is just blaring down on top of you. But both teams are very much in that camp. Trade deadline is tomorrow. No, the trade deadline is on August 3rd, so it's actually next week. So we await the top of the 5th inning. Due up for the Cubs is Carson Kelly, Dansby Swanson, and P. Crow Armstrong. So 8, 9, and 1 in their order. Number 3 putts. I just stumbled on this channel. Good stuff. Just hit the like and subscribe. I'm not a Cubs or a Cards fan, but I don't like the Cubs, so let's go Cards. Well, I'm glad you're digging it, my friend. I'm glad you found us. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thanks for making yourself known. Now the first pitch from Pallante. Slider strike to Carson Kelly, and the count is 0-1. Now the 0-1 pitch. A slider just misses away, and out of the zone, and the count is 1-1. Now the 1-1 offering. There's a fly ball out to right field. Coming in is Newbar. He's underneath it. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So a quick out bat there. Choo-choo 12-21. Hi, Bomber. Sweet call on the game winner yesterday. Well, thank you so much. Now, here's Dansby Swanson, the 9-hitter. He's a righty-righty matchup. Nobody on with 1 out. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike on the slider, down and away. Swinging over the top of that one was Dansby Swanson, and the count is 0-1. Yeah, it used to be the July 31st trade deadline. I forget when they pushed it back. Roger Bassman checking in from Tucson. He comes wide, and the 0-1. A knuckle curve down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Checking in from Tucson, invoking my Fifth Amendment rights, even though my pardon revokes them. Pirates fan rooting on the Cards. Yes, indeed. The 1-1. Fouled back on the sinker up and in, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, the 1-2 offering. A knuckle curve down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. There is nobody on with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning, all tied at 1. Pallante comes set, hidden winds, and the 2-2. Fouled back on the slider on the inner third, and the count remains 2-2. Now he winds, and the 2-2 pitch. Swinging strike 3. Down hacking goes Dansby Swanson for the second out of the inning. So a sinker down there that had some excellent vertical action on it. Nothing to do but swing and miss there for Dansby Swanson. Now back to the top of the order. Here is Pete Crow Armstrong. He's 1 for 2 this afternoon. Nobody on with 2 out, top of the 5th, all tied at 1. Righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch from Pallante. A splitter away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Wow, that is impressive. A Cards fan and a Mets fan together. That's almost chalk and cheese, but I'm glad it's worked out. The 1-0. A half swing on the slider up and away for a strike, and the count is 1-1 to Pete Crow Armstrong. Yeah, there's a big field there for the wild card in the National League. It's nice that so many teams, to some degree, have the ability, even though I missed the 1 wild card to some extent. The 1-1, swinging strike, and the 4-seam fastball upstairs, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm glad you dig it, DJ Nick Fly. Now it's a 1-2 count. Pallante winds, and Pallante deals. A 4-seam fastball well upstairs and out of the zone. The count is even at 2-2. Now he winds, and the 2-2 pitch. There's a fly ball out to left field. Going over into the gap is Torres, and it's off the base of the wall. And going into second with a stand-up 2-out double is Pete Crow Armstrong. And now the Cubs have a runner on second with 2 out here in the top of the 5th inning. You know, right behind Alex Bregman, Pete Crow Armstrong there, whatever you think of him, has had quite a series. There is no question about that. Now into the box is Suzuki. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Runner leads off second with 2 out. From the stretch is Pallante. The first pitch is Suzuki. A knuckle curve up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Pallante comes set. Now the 1-0. Foul tipped on the four-seam fastball upstairs. And the count is 1-1. 65 pitches so far for Pallante. Hey, it's Nick /4like. I'm like number 80. Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody. So good to see you, Nick. Now Pallante sets. And the 1-1. A knuckle curve up and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. You just want all the attention, don't you? Well, here he comes again. Now he comes set. And the 2-1. Fouled back on the four-seam, correction, on the slider, and the count is 2-2. So Pete Crow Armstrong leads off second with 2 outs. The top of the 5th inning, all tied at 1. It's a 2-2 count here to Suzuki. From the stretch is Pallante. He sets at the Birds. And the 2-2. A sinker well upstairs, out of the zone, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Philip. I'm just calling the games. Like I said, we're lucky to have a competitive Cardinal team this year, one way or the other. They've really done a wonderful job for the most part. Now the 3-2. Ball 4 on the sinker up and in, so Suzuki works a 2-out walk, and the Cubs have runners on first and second with 2 out here in the top of the 5th inning. 82 likes, 209 people watching. Hit that like button, everybody. So runners on first and second with 2 out. Top of the 5th, all tied at 1. Here is the lefty, Michael Busch. Righty-lefty matchup. He's 1 for 2. And the first pitch from Pallante. Hit to the right side. Picked up on the ground by Weatherall. He throws to first in time to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 left on. After 4.5 innings of play, it is all tied at 1. Going to the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Gabe Mike. All tied at 1, going bottom of 5. Wow. There we are. Well, hey, Pallante got in and out of a little trouble there. Did a fine job. What more can you ask for, right? Yeah, choir guy, I think you're pretty spot on. You know, I think that the ABS challenge has had even a lot of unintended but otherwise positive effects as well. To what extent Major League Baseball anticipated, I can't be certain, but it's added a whole new element to the game where there's excitement behind it. Almost like a game within a game kind of thing. Whether you're at the ballpark, whether you're sitting at home, watching it or listening, however you may be doing it. It's fun. That, and there's a whole bunch of tactics that are kind of evolving around it in real time because they're, you know, we haven't even had it for a full season yet, and that's pretty cool. And, you know, for the most part, it's definitely overturned some really bad calls. Jeff Coleman with the $1 super. Jeff, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Both the super and the sentiment are very much appreciated, and I thank you. So due up for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 5th inning. Weatherholt, Walker, and Burleson. So 1, 2, and 3 in the Cardinal order. They will face Javier Assad. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup in the first pitch of Weatherholt. Strike. Change up on the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. Now the 0-1 pitch. Fouled back on the curveball, down and in, and the count is 0-2. Weatherholt's 0 for 2 this afternoon. One thing that we have learned time and again is this offense ain't entirely right unless he is hitting as well as Ivan Herrera. Now the 0-2 pitch. Forcing fastball up and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Weatherholt gets back into the box. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 5th inning, all tied at 1. Now the 1-2 from Assad. A sinker down and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-2 to J.J. Weatherholt. That was the 75th pitch this afternoon for Assad in 4+ innings of work. Now he comes motion and the 2-2. Hit to the right side and into right field for a base hit. So a leadoff single by J.J. Weatherholt, and the Cardinals have a runner on first, nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Now here comes Jordan Walker, 1 for 2. Struck out his first at-bat, singled to left center in his second. There's a runner on first, nobody out. On deck is Alec Burleson. Righty-righty matchup. Assad comes set. And the first pitch. Fouled down the first base side and out of play on the sinker in. The count is 0-1. Now he comes set. And the 0-1. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball up and in, and the count is 0-2. Absolutely, Harold. No, Jeff consistently, game after game, is very generous with his supers, and I can't thank him enough. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Jordan Walker. Everybody take a drink. Now he comes set. The 0-2 just gets a piece of that sweeper away to stay alive, and the count is 0-2 to Jordan Walker. Infield defense somewhat shaded towards left with Michael Bush holding on the runner at first. From the stretch is Assad. He holds and holds. He throws over to first. Lob throw back in time with the head first slide is J.J. Weatherholt. The count remains 0-2. John George. Hey, Paul D, JB, and the wonderful Cardinals fans in the chat. Hope you all have a blessed day. Well, you too, John. Absolutely. Now, Assad comes set. He sets to the chest. The 0-2. Foul tipped on the sinker in. The count remains. No balls and 2 strikes. That was the 80th pitch for Assad this afternoon in 4+ innings of work. Thank you so much, Russell. That means a lot to me. Now, the 0-2 pitch. Fouled down over towards the Cardinal dugout on the sweeper away. Getting the piece of that was Jordan Walker. Well, cheers to you too, Russell. Looking in is Assad, giving a look over there towards first, and J.J. Weatherholt leading. He steps off the rubber, so we get to wait a little longer for the 0-2 offering. Now, he comes set. The 0-2. There goes the runner. Here's the throw. Here's the play, and he is safe. He's not able to hold on to the ball. It appears to be Nico Horner. So J.J. Weatherholt steals second on the play. It is a ball. And the Cardinals have a runner on second with nobody out. Yeah, the ball essentially got thrown into J.J. Weather on a hop. Nico Hoerner could not get any proper leather on it. And the count is 1-2. Runner leads off second with nobody out. Now the 1-2. Called strike three, a sinker on the outside corner. Down looking goes Jordan Walker for the first out of the inning. That's the second time he struck out on that very same pitch in that very same location today. He did so in his first at-bat. I'm a little surprised he actually didn't challenge it because it was somewhat on the low side. It seemed like a generous call, but he didn't go there. And now, Craig Counsell is going to the pen. He's going to the lefty Rollison to face Burleson with a runner on second, one out. So we have ourselves a pitching change. Wow. I'll get you the numbers on Rollison in just a minute. The runner on second is still the responsibility of Javier Assad, who has thrown 4 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run earned, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So he had a pretty good afternoon for his part. Now, Ryan Rollison, the 29-year-old left-hander, in 37 games in 2026, he's 5-1 with a 2.66 ERA and 40 2/3 innings pitched. 42 strikeouts in that span and a whip of 1.30. He's coming in to face the lefty Burleson. Then you have Pereira, then Newpar on the left side. So clearly he is being brought in specifically for 2 of the 3 batters that are otherwise due up. So we await the end of this pitching change. Following the strikeout of Jordan Walker, there is 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's all tied at 1. Another tight game here so far. Interesting games to watch and call, I can assure you. You know, the occasional block can be fun when it's in the favor of the Cardinals, but keeping you really just focused in. Jimmy Otero, howdy, Paul and y'all. Howdy, Jimmy Otero. It's good to see you. Welcome back. All right, stepping into the box here shortly will be Alec Burleson. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. This is a lefty-lefty matchup with the lefty Rollison on the mound. He comes set above the belt. Runner leads off second. The first pitch. A slider up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Gave you the numbers on Rollison just a moment ago. Now he comes set. The 1-0. A slider well down away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. This season with runners in scoring position, Burleson's hitting .353 with 3 home runs and 56 RBIs. Not bad. He comes set. The pitch. A changeup up and in and clear out of the zone. The count is 3-0. On deck is last night's hero, Ivan Herrera. Now Rollison sets. And the 3-0 offering. Strike, 4-seam fastball outside corner. Taken all the way there on 3-0 is Burleson, and the count is 3-1. Weatheralt leads off second with 1 out. It's a 3-1 count. Rollison sets. Rollison deals. Ball 4 on the 4-seam fastball up and away. So Alec Burleson works a 1-out walk. And now the Cardinals have runners on first and second with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And here is Ivan Herrera. Oh, Larry Rivers, as much as I would love to see that, the game has just kind of let that go, at least for the time being in this era. In an earlier time, one that I was very lucky enough to see, you wouldn't have pulled that kind of celebration. Especially now that the pitcher doesn't hit anymore. You know, it gets a little bit harder to retaliate in appropriate fashion. So be it. Lefty-righty matchup. Cummins hits Rollison. The first pitcher, Herrera. And there's a fly ball out to left field. He's underneath it is Zapp. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. One pitch, one out there to Ivan Herrera. Now here comes Lars Nootbaar. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup with the lefty Rollison on the mound. Runners on first and second with 2 out. Bottom of the 5th inning, all tied at 1. Now, Nootbaar is in the box. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. He comes set, does Rollison, the first pitch. A sweeper up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Now, Rollison sets. And the 1-0 pitch. A four-seam fastball misses the outside corner. It is ruled a ball, and the count is 2-0. Now he sets. And the 2-0 pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball down Broadway, and the count is 2-1. Nootbaar is back into the box. He's ahead in the count, 2-1. Rollison sets and deals. Strike, four-seam fastball down Broadway, and the count is 2-2. Runners lead off first and second with 2 out. Coming set is Rollison. He deals to Nootbaar. Swinging strike 3 on the four-seam fastball away for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 left on. After 5 full innings of play, we are all tied at 1 going to the top of the 6th inning. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my call of Redbird action this afternoon here on Game Mike, if you haven't done so already, please do leave a like. It's helping out the channel a ton. It's helping get it out there to more Cardinal fans. You do a bunch of good with it, and I thank you for it if you feel I've deserved it. And if you like what you see and hear and you're not already subscribed, well, hit subscribe. We'd love to have you. With that said, all tied at 1 going to the top of the 6th inning. Now, due up for the Cubs in the top of the 6th inning is Bregman, Happ, and Horner. So 4, 5, and 6 in the Northside order. Pallante so far, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. He has thrown 70 pitches so far in that time. 43 of them have been strikes. And of course, Bregman's been having a heck of a game period. So we await the top of the 6th inning. I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me on part of your Thursday afternoon here on Game Mike, here in the Getaway Day Businessman Special here on Game Mike. After today, they go north of the border to Toronto and Rogers Center to take on the Blue Jays, and then after that, 3 at Yankee Stadium. That will be interesting. All right, we're back here for the top of the 6th inning. Bregman, Happ, and Horner due up. We're all tied at 1 here on Getaway Day. 1-6-0 Cubs, 1-6-1 Cardinals. You got that right, Harold. Righty-righty matchup. Bregman is in the box. He's 1 for 2. Coming wind is Pallante, and the first pitch to Bregman. Strike, knuckle curve, outer third at the knees. The count is 0-1. Bregman had a word with the home plate umpire, but does not challenge. And the count is 0-1. Pallante looks into Herrera. He comes motion, and the 0-1. A sinker up and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Oh, they are an interesting team this year, to say the least. The 1-1. A sinker just inside, down and in, and the count is 2-1. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 6th inning, all tied at 1. Pallante winds and deals. Foul back behind home plate and out of play on the sinker in, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pallante's back onto the bump. Next pitch is going to be his 75th. He comes motion. He deals. There's a fly ball out towards second base. Underneath it is Weatherall. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So Pallante gets Bregman there. That's a pretty good formula as far as the first 3 games have been concerned. And he's been doing rather well. I mean, with the exception of the defensive miscue out in right by Lars Nootbaar, fielding independent of pitching, he's actually been quite good. Now the first pitch to Happ. Fouled back on the slider away. The count is 0-1. Righty-lefty matchup. Happ is 0 for 2. Nobody on with 1 out. Top of the 6th inning. All tied at 1. Pallante, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. He comes motion. The 0-1 offering. A 4-seam fastball up and away, called a ball. It was very close, but there is no challenge. The count is 1-1. Happ is back into the box. Back onto the bump is Pallante. He sits to the extreme first base side of the rubber. He comes wide. Now the 1-1. Hit on up the middle. Picked up there by Mason Wynn behind second. He throws to first in time to get Happ going down the line. So Happ grounds out 6-3 for the second out here in the top of the 6th inning. Now here comes Nico Horner. He's 1 for 2. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch to Horner. Strike. Sinker on the inside corner, and the count is 0-1. Nobody on with 2 out. Top of the 6th inning. All tied at 1. Plante's on the bump. He comes motion. Herrera sets up inside. The 0-1. Hit out there into left field. And it bloops in for a 2-out base hit to left off the bat of Nico Horner. And the Cubs have a runner on first with 2 out here in the top of the 6th inning. So a nice bit of 2-out hitting there. He took the inside pitch. Just found a way to bloop it, just like fist it out there into left field. Now here's Michael Conforto with a pair of groundouts. He's 0 for 2. That was the 80th pitch for Andre Pallante. Runner on first with 2 out. All tied at 1, top of the 6th inning. Pallante from the stretch sets at the Birds. And the first pitch. There goes the runner. Here's the throw. Here's the play. And he is in safe at second. So he goes and he swipes the bag. And that will be a called strike on the play. However, he is down there at second. And that is the one bugaboo defensively about Ivan Herrera, is that he does not have much of a cannon behind the plate. Throws out runners at a very low clip. Now he comes, set does Pallante. The 0-1. Hit to the right side, picked up by Burleson, covering his Pallante. He has the throw. He beats the runner to the bag for the 3rd and final out of the inning. No runs on 1 hit, no walks, a stolen base, and 1 left on. After 5.5 innings of play, it is all tied at 1, going to the bottom of the 6th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. All tied at 1, going to the bottom of the 6th. Let's go to the chat. All right. How many pitches does Pallante have? It's over 80 now, but I'll double check the exact number for you, David. Okay. Pallante has 82 at the moment. So it's not in any way unthinkable that he could go out there for the 7th inning. I mean, given the conditions that he's pitching in, Marmol may choose to go to the bullpen, but that remains to be seen at present. 106 likes. Great job, chat. Let's get to 150. Wow. Well, if we're talking about complete games I've been able to complete, that doesn't include the All-Star game, naturally. I think that's like 45, 46 games in a row. And I can thank you all very much for that. Randy Savage started his professional sports career as a St. Louis Cardinals minor leaguer. I never knew that about Randy Savage. But then again, I've never really looked into his background, so that's actually really interesting, Harold. May he rest in peace. He was one heck of a showman. Well, that much is certain. So we await the bottom of the 6th inning. Due up for the Redbirds. Wynn, Torres, and Jordan. So 6, 7, and 8 in the Redbird order. You just won't leave me alone today, will you, Si? All right, here comes Mason Wynn. He will face Javier Assad. It'll be a righty-righty match. Oh, excuse me, Assad's out of the game. He'll face... Do they still have Rollison in the game is the question we're all asking. And apparently so. So it's a lefty-righty matchup. Mental lapse. Now, the first pitch from Rollison. A curveball down and in, ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. Hey, Scott Reed, Biloxi, the 1-0 pitch. Four-seam fastball up and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. Biloxi, Great to see you back, Paul. Good to see you too, Scott Reed. Yes, and Ben, the 2-0. Strike, four-seam fastball down Broadway, and the count is 2-1. Oh, yeah. Now, Rollison comes dealing, swinging strike of the four-seam fastball on the outside corner, and that'll even out the count at 2-2. Oh, people have noticed, choir guy, no doubt. Now, he comes wine, the 2-2. A four-seam fastball inside ruled a ball, and the count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now, the 3-2 offering. Fouled down the first base side and out of play, and the count remains 3-2. Now, let's score some runs. I'm all for that. Philip, I want a homer. I feel like I haven't seen one lately. Well, they've been few and far between, no doubt. Now the 3-2. Hit to the left side, picked up by Bregman, wide of third on a hop. He throws to first in time to get Mason Wynn by a step. Mason Wynn bounces out 5-3 for the first out in the bottom of the 6th inning. So nobody on, 1 out. All tied at 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's Brian Torres. He's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles to left. He has the 1 RBI that is the Cardinals run in this game. Lefty-lefty matchup. The first pitch. Strike. Sweeper on the outside corner below the belt. The count is 0-1. A classic lefty-on-lefty matchup. Now the 0-1. Chopped to the right side, picked up there by Bush at first. Covered is Rollison. Head first slide, but it beats Torres to first for the second out of the inning. You know, there is a whole debate about, do you get to first base faster if you run through the bag or if you try and head first slide? I've never felt like there was a really conclusive answer on that, though I'm sure it has most definitely been timed out at some point. Now here's Blaze Jordan. He's 0 for 2. Lefty-righty matchup. The first pitch. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. A foul out and a ground out for Blaze this afternoon. Rollison winds the 1-0. A four-seam fastball down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. I know, you want attention. Back onto the bump is Rollison. He winds and deals. Swinging strike over the Uncle Charlie, down and in for the first strike. Mythbusters did it, and you indeed have a better time by the head first slide. Interesting, okay. Now, the 2-1 pitch. Hit on out there in the right field. Going back is the right fielder, and it's off the base of the wall. Blaze Jordan making the big turnaround first. He slides into second, and he is out on the throw. He is tagged out, trying to turn it into a double for the third and final out of the inning. No runs and no left on. None left on. We go to, are they going to take a look at it? Let's see. The Cubs are running off the field there. It looks like we're going to the top of the seventh inning, all tied at 1. 1-7-0 versus 1-7-1. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mic. I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised he got thrown out there out of right field. But you know what? I have to give it to him. Michael Conforto played it well on the carom off the base of the wall and put together just an incredible throw to get Blaze Jordan there. That is not a high percentage play success-wise. That's the third out of the inning. Yes, indeed, Scott Reed, Uncle Charlie. It's easy to miss him, Ron, I can tell you that. Those snap throws that he could do from his knees down to either first or third, I mean, you would have to be out of your mind to take too much of a lead on him. But, you know, when you get some of the best of all time, certainly defensively in the case of Yadier Molina, even though he does have over 2,000 career hits, so let's not overlook that. But once you've had it, and you've had it for like 15 years, whatever the case was, it's not easy to let that go. It really isn't. You know, the Yankee fan part of me thinks about that in regards to Mariano Rivera. And the funny thing is, when Yadier came up, I think which was in 2004, both of his brothers, Jose and Benji, kept saying, because, you know, Yadier being the youngest one, they kept saying, he's the best of the three of us, just you watch. And boy, were they right. And those guys were some serious defensive catchers themselves. Now, Pallante out for his seventh frame, and the first pitch. Hit to the left side and picked up by a diving Mason Wynn. He throws to first, and he is out at first. Oh, what a play by Mason Wynn, making the diving stop in the hole, getting up to his feet, and getting the runner by half a step at first for the first out of the top of the seventh inning. Oh, what a play there by Mason Wynn. A full body stop, throwing from shallow left field, gets the runner going down the line for the first out of the inning. Oh, that was excellent. Truly excellent. True statement, Harold. Now here's Dansby Swanson. Here's the first pitch. A knuckle curve strike, outside corner below the belt. The count is 0-1. So nobody on with one out, thanks to the amazing play by Mason Wynn. And the 0-1 pitch. Swinging strike on the slider, down and away, and the count is 0-2 to Dansby Swanson, who's 0 for 2. Yeah. He's got the shades down, does Mason Wynn. It's a good look. Now, Pallante looks into Herrera. He sets up upstairs, the 0-2. A sinker upstairs and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. In fairness, that is exactly what Herrera called for. So he located it properly. The count is 1-2. He comes motion, the 1-2 pitch. A sinker well upstairs and out of the zone. The count is even at 2-2. Dansby Swanson ground out into a double play, struck out swinging. Nobody on with one out, all tied at 1 in the top of the seventh. Coming winds Pallante, he deals. A knuckle curve down and away and out of the zone. The count is 3-1. Yes, I know. Yeah. It's a 3-2 count. Pallante comes wide, and the 3-2. Fouled back on the sinker, up and in. The count remains 3-2. Oh, wow. Walk-off grand slam for the Twins. Now, he comes wide, and the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4 on the slider, well up and in. So Pallante loses him after being ahead in the count, and the Cubs have a runner on first with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. You know, one thing I will say about the Twins, I'm not a Twins fan, but I was a big Johan Santana fan, you know, before he became a Met. Here comes Ollie Marmol, so it looks like Pallante is going to get the hook here. But boy, oh boy, 6 1/3, 1 run. He did a very fine job. Dansby Swanson at first is still his responsibility. And they're going to the right-hander, George Soriano. So we have ourselves a pitching change. George Soriano is going to come in to face P. Crow Armstrong. And so we wait George Soriano to come trotting in from the pen, take a few warm-up tosses. So we get to take a break from the action. Corey with the $2 super. Our resident honored Brewers fan who is one of our first citizens here on Game Mike. Thank you so much, Corey. I'm glad you dig it so much here. You're always a ray of sunshine in this neck of the woods. Super chat or no super chat? You add a lot to the discourse here. And I appreciate that immensely. We'll see. You know, my guess is this. As far as Pallante goes, let me give you the official pitch count here on Pallante. Okay. So Pallante had thrown 90 pitches. 56 of them have been strikes. He pitches in the 7th inning here. I'm not surprised they're going to the pen. Something that we have learned time and again this year, for better and worse, admittedly, is the Cardinals are very, very protective of their pitchers. And in heat of this nature, underneath that blaring sun, 50-something% humidity, whatever the case is, 90 pitches, they want to protect their health at all costs. And for the most part, for better and worse, they seem to have largely been able to do that. Mostly. Dustin May had that lower back issue back towards mid to late June. But outside of that, they've actually done a pretty good job in that respect. And so this is very much their modus operandi in this case. So the runner on first is still his responsibility. George Soriano is in. He'll face P. Crow Armstrong. George Soriano is in 47 1/3, a 3.42 ERA. It is a righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch of PCA. There goes the runner. Here's the throw. Here's the play. And Dansby Swanson is easily safe at second. The pitch is ruled a ball. And now the Cubs have a runner in scoring position with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. We're all tied at 1. They're taking advantage of that lack of a cannon with Herrera behind the plate. PCA is 2 for 3. Now, Soriano sets the 1-0. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball inside, and the count is 1-1. Cody Clemens with the granny. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the Twins. I was a big fan of Johan Santana. The one thing I have to say is they have really solid jerseys, really good uniforms the Twins always put out there. The 1-1. A slider down and in and out of the zone from Soriano, and the count is 2-1. Pete Crow Armstrong is hitting .368 this year with runners in scoring position. Swanson leads off second. It's a 2-1 count with 1 out. Now the 2-1 offering. A changeup up and away and out of the zone. The count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Ah, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Now, Soriano sets the 3-1. Foul back on the changeup in, and the count is full, 3-2 to Pete Crow Armstrong. Man, he has that big arch of the letters in the back of his jersey that is synonymous with long last names. Paul Goldschmidt was in that department. How do I know? Because I got his jersey. Now, he comes set. The 3-2 to PCA. Swinging strike three. Down, heck it goes PCA. For the second out of the inning. A big strikeout there by George Soriano to get the second out on the strikeout swinging of Pete Crow Armstrong, who was on a fastball upstairs. That'll be the second out. Now, here comes Seiya Suzuki with a runner on second and 2 out. Righty-righty matchup. Soriano comes set. The first pitch is Suzuki. A changeup up and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Suzuki is 0 for 2 with a walk. Swanson leads off second after swiping the bag. Now the 1-0 pitch. A slider away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. Missouri Gaming has indeed. I haven't seen you in a while, Missouri Gaming. I hope you're well. Infield defense is actually playing him slightly shaded towards left, but fairly straight away all told. Soriano sets and the 2-0. A changeup up and away and out of the zone. The count is 3-0 to Seiya Suzuki. Oh, you're welcome, Missouri Gaming. Now, coming set. It's going to be a 3-0 pitch, and here's the pitch. Swinging strike on the slider, down and away. Swinging over the top of that one was Suzuki. The count is 3-1. You don't see a lot of batters in this day and age going after a 3-0 pitch, but he just did. Soriano sets at the belt. He deals. Swinging strike on the changeup, down and in. Swinging over the top of that one was Suzuki, and the count is 3-2. Oh, well, thank you, Jimmy Otero. I try to focus on one thing at a time, and then when my focus shifts, I go with that. Now, the 3-2. Ball 4 on the four-seam fastball. It gets by. Herrera goes to the backstop. Dansby Swanson will go to third on the pass ball by Herrera, and the Cubs have runners on first and third with 2 out here in the top of the 7th inning. So that wasn't great. Here comes Michael Bush, the left-hander. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup with runners on first and third following that walk and the pass ball. Happened simultaneously. Now, here is Michael Bush. He's 1 for 3 and the first pitch. Strike, changeup on the inside quarter at the knees. The count is 0-1. Always playing with fire there in that down and in quarter to lefties. Single with a pair of groundouts is Bush. Now the 0-1. Foul down the first base side and out of play on the slider, down and in, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Now Soriano sets. Right there at the belt. Runners lead off first and third. Here's the pitch. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Soriano looks into Herrera. The runners lead off first and third with 2 out. He comes set. And the 1-2. Chop foul, just got a piece of that. Looked like a changeup down and away, so the count remains 1-2. Michael Bush gets back into the box. And on the bump is Soriano. He looks into Herrera. He's got his pitch through the pitch comm. He comes set at the belt. And the 1-2. Hit out there to the left side and into left field for a base hit. Scoring easily is Dansby Swanson from third. And that is an RBI 2-out single to left by Michael Busch. And that will give the Cubs a 2-1 lead. And now they have runners on first and second with 2 out. So they pushed the lead run across there on the RBI 2-out single to left by Michael Busch. And now here comes Alex Bregman with runners on first and second and 2 out. It's a 2-1 Cubs lead here in the top of the 7th inning. It'll be a righty-righty matchup. He's 1 for 3. The pitch. Well upstairs and very well caught there by Herrera, or else that would have gone into the netting behind home plate. And the count is 1-0. Bregman is back into the box, choking up a little bit there on the lumber. Runners lead off first and second, the 1-0. A sinker up and away and out of the zone from Soriano, and the count is 2-0. A fielder's choice, a double, and a foul out. Now Soriano comes set at the belt, and the 2-0. A slider upstairs and out of the zone. The count is 3-0. Now looking in is Soriano. Runners lead. It's a 3-0 count. Here's the pitch. Strike. Four-seam fastball down Broadway, and the count is 3-1 strike. So Bregman taken all the way there in the statue mode with 3-0. 21 pitches for Soriano so far. He sets and deals. Strike, sweeper on the outer third, just above the knees, and the count is 3-2. Now it's a 3-2 count. Runners lead off first and second with 2 out. The 3-2 pitch. Hit foul down the third baseline on the slider. And the count remains 3-2. So the Cubs have runners on first and second with 2 outs. A 3-2 count here to Alec Bregman. George Soriano is on the mound. They have one already in that has broken up the 1-1 tie here in the top of the 7th inning. Infield defense mostly straight away and playing back here against Bregman. Coming set is Soriano. And the 3-2. And he popped him up behind home plate, but it goes foul into the stands, and the count remains 3-2. Next pitch is going to be George Soriano's 25th in relief of Andre Pallante. Dansby Swanson scoring there on that RBI single left is the responsibility of Pallante, so that's his second earned run in 6 1/3 inning of work, and that's his final line. George Soriano comes set at the belt. He deals. Ball 4 on the four-seam fastball away, and that will load the bases with 2 outs. So a walk by Bregman, and the bases are loaded with 2 out here in the top of the 7th inning. And in comes Ian Happ. And there's a visit out here to the mound. And I believe that is Dusty Blake, the pitching coach. Indeed, it appears to be. And they're all talking over the bases loaded with 2 out here. You can only imagine what they have to say on the subject, especially with Ian Happ coming up. Cheers, Harold. So the powwow on the mound has been completed. Now here's Ian Happ. Happ is 0 for 3 this afternoon. He comes up with the bases loaded and 2 out, top of the 7th inning. One already in on the RBI single left by Michael Busch that scored Dansby Swanson. Runners lead. Righty-lefty matchup. Coming set Soriano, the first pitch. Swinging strike on the changeup, down and in the dirt. Doing a bit of a favor there is Ian Happ to George Soriano, and the count is 0-1. Ian Happ gets back into the box. Soriano sets at the belt. Now the 0-1. A slider down and in and clear out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Oh, interesting twisted T. Now he comes set at the belt. And the 1-1. A four-seam fastball down and in ruled a ball. The count is 2 balls and 1 strike. There is no place to put Ian Happ here. George Soriano, one way or the other, has to remain in the strike zone. Happ is back into the box. Soriano comes set. And he deals. Hit to the right side, picked up by Weatherall on the ground. He throws to first in time to get Ian Happ for the third and final out of the inning. However, the RBI single off the bat of Michael Busch scoring Dansby Swanson has given the Cubs a 2-1 lead. It is 7th inning stretch time down at Busch Stadium on the western banks of the mighty Mississippi. A 2-1 Cubs lead. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Gabe Mike. 2-1 Northsiders going to the bottom of the 7th. Well, hey, getting Ian Happ there with the bases loaded, even with the one already in, you take a sigh of relief if you are a Cardinals fan. That could have been a lot worse. A whole lot worse. Due up in the bottom of the 7th for the St. Louis Cardinals. I believe they are at towards the bottom of the order, last I checked. Nate Church, Weatherholt, and Jordan Walker. So 9, 1, and 2 in the Cardinal order. Still showing Rollison as in the game. And, quite frankly, that would make all the sense in the world considering 2 of the 3 batters that are due up in the bottom of the 7th inning are left-handed hitters. See where Craig Counsell goes with that one. Redbirds Sports Cars, way to get out of a jam there. He definitely did a fine job limiting the damage. I will credit him that. All right. So we await the bottom of the 7th inning. And here we go, folks. Tealbar is in the game for the Chicago Cubs. The 39-year-old left-hander in 37 games is 3-2 with a 3.94 ERA in 32 innings pitched exactly. 42 strikeouts in that span, a whip of 1.22. So Caleb Tealbar, the 39-year-old lefty, in here to face. Looks like we got ourselves a pinch hitter here. So they're going to pinch hit Nate Church with Jose Fermin to help neutralize that lefty-lefty advantage. Shows the lefty-righty matchup. He's hitting .243 with 5 home runs. Now the first pitch to Fermin. Strike, curveball on the outer third at the knees. The count is 0-1 from Tealbar, who has that nasty Uncle Charlie. We saw it last night. It was tough. Now the 0-1 pitch. A curveball down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Jeff with the $1 super. It is you who are super, Jeff. Thank you so much. Tealbar sets and deals. There's a fly ball out to left field. Happ is underneath it a couple steps in, fighting the sun. He makes the catch for the first out of the bottom of the 7th inning. Now here is J.J. Weatherall with nobody on, 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2-1 Cubs. That second run coming in the top half of the 7th inning off the bat of Michael Busch. J.J. is 1 for 3 this afternoon. Lefty-lefty matchup, the first pitch. A sweeper strike, inner third below the belt to Weatherall, and the count is 0-1. Tealbar comes set, and the 0-1. And Uncle Charlie upstairs ruled a ball. The count is 1-1. JJ gets back into the box. Tealbar sets and the 1-1. A four-seam fastball well upstairs and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. J.J. Weatherall is a key cog in this offense. The 2-1 pitch. Hit out there to right field. Going back, looking up, and it is gone. A solo home run to right by J.J. Weatherall. Oh, J.J. has a bat for all seasons, and that will tie the game at 2. And the solo home run to right with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Oh, what a home run there by J.J. Weatherall. It was an absolute no-doubter, and we are all tied at 2 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. J.J. with the bat for all seasons, Weatherall. We are all tied at 2, folks. Now, here is Jordan Walker, lefty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Foul tipped on the Uncle Charlie. The count is 0-1. Nobody on with 1 out. 1 already in here for the Cardinals on the solo home run to right off the bat of J.J. Weatherall. This thing probably went about 370 feet. And the 0-1. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball up and away, and the count is 0-2. Rookie of the year indeed, DJ Nick Fly. Jeremiah, good things happen in the bathroom. Yeah. I've been in that position many a time. Jeff Goldman with another $1 super. Oh, Jeff, you're too much. You're too much. Thank you so much. Now, the 0-2 to Walker. Swinging strike 3 on the cheddar there from Tealbar for the second out of the inning. Yeah, that thing was an absolute no-doubter. Ooh, boy, that was nice. And he was admiring it for a few seconds there. He's not the type to usually do that, so it actually went above the first section. Now, here's the pitch. Hit to the right side by Alec Burleson, picked up by Nico Horner at second. Throws to first in time for the third and final out of the inning. But 1 run on 1 very big hit. The solo home run to right that's tied the game at 2 by J.J. Weatherall. No walks and nobody left on. After 7 full innings of play, it is all tied at 2 going to the top of the 8th inning. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my Call It Redbird action here on Game Mike this afternoon, you haven't done so already and you think I deserve it, please do leave a like. It's greatly appreciated by me. It helps out the channel a ton. And it helps it push it out there to more Cardinal fans who need all the help they can get following this team at present. We all know why. And baseball fans more generally. And if you like what you see and it's your first time here or you've been multiple times, but you haven't subscribed yet but you're digging it, hit subscribe. Love to have you aboard. With that said, all tied at 2 going to the top of the 8th inning. But once again, Jeff Coleman, thank you very much. Yeah, it really does, Jeremiah. In hindsight, those things can look quite different as events unfold. Well, thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate it. And it makes me very happy that we can keep you company at work. I remember one of the most interesting experiences I've had here, speaking of people listening to this at work. I forget exactly who it was, but they were a manager of a store, and they actually had the call on Game Mic going on over the PA system in the store. I was very touched by that. I actually screenshotted that to remember it. Just because it's one of those things, you know. You never know who's watching or listening and what circumstances they may be in. I like that kind of thing. I really do. All right, we're back here for the top of the 8th inning. Now, here's Ryan Stanek. 46 games, 41 in the third innings, pitch of 4.35 ERA and a whip of 1.45, 9.8 Ks per 9. He will face Nico Horner. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch. A slider strike. Enter third just below the knees. It's something of a generous call, but Stanek will take it, and the count is 0-1. Ryan Stanek got in and out of trouble last night. Got some big strikeouts. He takes you for a ride. He sets at the Birds, the 0-1. Four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Russell Morrow with the $2 super. Well, Russell, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying it so much. The 1-1. A four-seam fastball just missed the outside corner. It's ruled a ball. The count is 2-1 to Nico Horner, who's 2 for 3. No, Russell, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Now, the 2-1 pitch. Foul back on the four-seam fastball away, and the count is even at 2-2 strikes. Cheers, Russell. Stanek looks it in, sets at the Birds. Now the 2-2. Spoiled off that slider down and away did Nico Horner, and the count remains 2-2. Love it, Philip. Now he comes set. The 2-2 offering. Foul down the third base side. Now the play on the splitter, and the count remains 2-2. So nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 8th inning, all tied at 2. Stanek comes set. The 2-2. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball upstairs, and the count remains 2-2. Nico Horner steps out of the box briefly, tightens up those batting gloves. Got a good grip on the lumber there. Stanek is in the box, rather on the bump. Sitting up inside is Herrera, the 2-2. A sinker just misses the outside corner. It is ruled a ball, and the count is 3-2. Now, here's an interesting question that I ask you all. We'll get to it in a moment once we get a pitch delivered here. He comes set. The 3-2. Hit to the left side and into left field for a base hit. Picked up out there by Torres, so Nico Horner has a leadoff single here in the top of the 8th inning, and the Cubs have a runner on first with nobody out. For those who are in the audience, with the exception of the Cardinals if you're a Cardinal fan, or the exception of the Cubs if you're a Cubs fan, if you were a major league player, what city would you most want to play in? Let me know in the chat. Horner leads off first. Now the first pitch. There's a fly ball out there to right field. Going back is Jordan Walker on the track. He's underneath it. Correction, Newpar. He throws it back in. Back to first is Nico Horner. So a fly out to right there for the first out. Off the bat of Michael Conforto. Now, here's Carson Kelly, the catcher. Righty-righty matchup. Runner on first with one out. Here's the pitch. A four-seam fastball misses just inside, and the count is 1-0. Okay. Now, Russell, your generosity is most appreciated. I always appreciate that. Hit to the left side. Picked up by Blake Jordan. He throws the second one on to first. An inning-ending double play, and that will do it. So, no runs, one hit, no walks, nobody left on. After 7.5 innings of play, it is all tied at 2 going to the bottom of the 8th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Bike. All tied at 2 going to the bottom of the 8th. Well, hey, Ryan Stanek, he gives up that leadoff single to left off the bat of Nico Horner. He gets a fly ball to right, picked up by Newpar on the track, and then gets the inning-ending double play. Can't complain about that. Inquisitor Halt, St. Louis or Baltimore. Okay. James Houlihan, Chicago. Got Houseman, St. Louis to Denver. Remember, there's a caveat to this question, folks. If you're a Cardinal fan, you can't say St. Louis. And if you're a Cubs fan, you can't say the Cubs or, for that matter, the White Sox. Not that any Cubs fan would want to ever play for the White Sox, but you get the idea. I lived in that city for a number of years. Believe me, there's no love between those two clubs and fan bases. Very different groups. Tampa. That's a good answer. Jeff Coleman, do I have an email address that I can share? As a matter of fact, I do. I do have one for the channel. If you go into the channel description for Bombers Game Mic, there's a Bombers Game Mic at gmail.com. It says for media and business inquiries, but I use it as an all-purpose point of contact, Jeff. So if you want to send me an email there, you're more than welcome to do so. That's why it's there. All right, we're back here for the bottom of the 8th inning, all tied at 2. There we go. Here we are. Reds or Pirates? Okay, that's interesting. It's been a great game to listen to. Thanks, Paul. You got it, DJ McFly. The righty Gavin Hollowell, 13 1/3 innings in 13 games, a 2.70 ERA with a 1.35 whip. He will face Ivan Herrera. Righty-righty matchup. Time is briefly granted by the home plate umpire to Ivan Herrera, who's basically digging himself a sandcastle out there in the right-handed batter's box, if indeed there were sand and not infield dirt there. Coming set is Hollowell, the first pitch. Strike, sinker on the inside quarter at the knees. The count is 0-1. Now, the 0-1 pitch. A sinker away, ruled a ball. The count is 1-1. That's something I have to get around to, Dave Elliott. I already know what it is. Justin Beasley already knows what it is. It's going to be a proper double tap of the gong. Now, the 1-1 pitch. A sinker ruled a ball. It was on the outer third below the belt. Challenged there by Carson Kelly. So ABS challenge incoming. I think they're going to win that challenge, honestly. Indeed they will. So the call is overturned, and the count is 1-2 strikes. Initially ruled a ball, overturned on the ABS challenge by the Cubs, and the count is 1-2. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 8th inning. Righty-righty matchup. Here is Herrera and the 1-2. Head on out there into center field. Charging is PCA, and it falls in for a leadoff hit by Ivan Herrera just off the end of the bat. And the Cardinals have a runner on first with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Because I've always wanted to see Fenway Park, I'd want to play for Boston. I've been to Fenway a couple of times. No, 3 times. I've been to Wrigley a lot. I know regulars will have heard me say this. So I've seen both the antique ballparks a fair amount and kind of judge them. I actually like Wrigley more because it feels less claustrophobic. But that's just more a Paul thing than anything else. You know, Fenway is a fine experience. I even say that as a Yankee fan. But I generally prefer Wrigley. That and I like Wrigleyville a lot more. Now, here's Lars Nootbaar. He's 0 for 2. Here's the pitch. A 4-seam fastball inside, ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. Oh, Harold, hold on to that one. The 1-0 pitch. A changeup down and in. A great stop there by Carson Kelly from that thing going all the way to the backstop on how he backhanded that thing. The count is 2-0. So obviously, Harold, when I'm referencing Ivan the Terrible, I'm talking about, you know, the 16th century czar. Now, coming set is Hollowell, the 2-0. And he popped him straight up, does Nootbaar. Underneath it is Dansby Swanson in shallow center field. He calls for it. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. However, even though we referred to that particular czar as Ivan the Terrible, it's kind of a mistranslation. It's more like Ivan the Fierce. So that's more or less what I'm actually I'm actually channeling there when I say Ivan the Terrible. A little historical nerdy stuff there, but that's how the thinking goes up between the ears for Paul D. Now, here is Mason Wynn. Righty-righty matchup, runner on first. Here's the pitch. 4-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. That's cool, Harold. Well, then I can put that as the explainer for everyone else who can't figure out what the heck is he talking about. The 1-0 pitch. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. Of course, I don't think Ivan Herrera would in all likelihood, harm somebody with his scepter, but I think we all get the spirit that is meant in. Runner on first with 1 out. It's a 2-0 count. All tied at 2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Oh, Sinbin, you're a lucky man. He comes set. Now the 2-0 from Hollowell. Strike, four-seam fastball inside quarter below the belt to Mason. Win. The count is 2-1. I love the old Yankee Stadium. I grew up in that stadium. He comes set. Runner leads. Now the 2-1. And he pops him up out there in foul territory near the Cardinals dugout. Underneath it is Bush. He makes the catch right up against the fencing there at the top step of the Cardinal dugout for the second out of the inning. So Mason Wynn fouls out for the second out. Oh, are you, Harold? Oh, it's always good to meet a fellow traveler. Now here is Brian Torres, 2 for 3 with an RBI. That second single was an RBI to left that gave the Cardinals their first run. Runner on first with 2 out. Righty-lefty matchup. Hollowell comes set. The first pitch to Torres. Four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Now he comes set. The 1-0. And there's a fly ball out to right field. Underneath it is Conforto. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no walks, 1 left on. After 8 full innings of play, it is all tied at 2 going to the top of the 9th inning. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my call Redbird action here on Game Mike, you haven't done so already, you think I deserve it, please leave a like. It's greatly appreciated. It's helping out this channel a ton. If you're not already subscribed, you like what you see, hit subscribe. I'd love to have you aboard. With that said, all tied at 2 going to the top of the 9th. Okay. Old Comiskey and County Stadium plus Metrodome, too. So I never got to see Old Comiskey or County Stadium, but I did go to the Metrodome. It was back in 2009. I think it was actually the last regular season homestand for the Twins that year, back when they were battling it out with the Tigers for the top of the AL Central that year. And it was a good game to go to. The place was really full, and it was deafening, Sinbin. We picked the right game in that case. And, of course, that year they had to play the true game 163, the one-game playoff to determine the champion of the AL Central. I picked a heck of a time to go. One thing was for sure, it's not that the Metrodome was anything necessarily special in terms of amenities, but it had a lot of character. And I watched it as a kid on TV so many times, and I loved the air-supported roof and just the whole deafening reputation that it had. Wouldn't give up that memory for anything in the world. So we await the top of the 9th inning. We're all tied at 2. Due up for the Cubs, Dansby Swanson, P. Crow Armstrong, and Seiya Suzuki. So 9, 1, and 2 in the Cubs order. Riley O'Brien is being brought out here. The 31-year-old right-hander, 43 games, is 3-4 with a 3.59 ERA and 42 2/3 innings pitched. 45 strikeouts, a whip of 1.22. So they're bringing in the closer in the tie game at home, which is permitted. Now the first pitch to Swanson. Strike, sinker right down Broadway, and the count is 0-1. Now he sets the 0-1 pitch. Swinging strike on the sweeper down and away. Swinging over the top of that one was Dansby Swanson, and the count is 0-2. Defensive replacement for Ivan Herrera behind the plate in the person of Pedro Pajes. So we got a defensive replacement there. Kind of makes sense. to some extent. Defensively, it makes sense. Certainly not offensively. Now, the 0-2 pitch. A sweeper well away and over the lefty batter's box, and the count is 1-2. Swanson gets back into the box. Coming sets O'Brien. And here's the 1-2. A sinker away and out of the zone. The count is 2-2. Infield defense slightly shaded towards left against Dansby Swanson, but more or less straight away, much more so than usual. Now, the 2-2 pitch. Called strike three. A sinker on the outside corner. Down in the observatory goes Dansby Swanson for the first out of the inning. In fact, Dansby Swanson was arguing with the home plate umpire. That thing really did whisper over the black of the outside corner. But no challenge. Both teams have both their ABS challenges allotted in regulation. So nobody on with one out. Righty-lefty matchup. Here is Pete Crow Armstrong. And the first pitch for O'Brien. And he hit it into foul territory. It goes into the stands behind the Cubs dugout. And the count is 0-1 to PCA. Oh, did they? I didn't know that, Sinbin. I'm surprised they needed to. But hey. Pete Crow Armstrong 2 for 4 this afternoon. The 0-1. A sinker up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Nobody on with one out. Infield defense heavily shaded towards right. Blaze Jordan playing near the bag at third. Here's the pitch. Hit down the first base side and out of play on the sinker. And the count is 1-2 strikes to Pete Crow Armstrong. Just got a piece of that thing. Oh, wow. Nice catch there. All righty. Yeah, it looks like Yachty is actually on hand there today. I know that neck tattoo. Coming set is O'Brien. Now the 1-2 pitch. Called strike three. A sinker on the inside corner. Challenged immediately by Pete Crow Armstrong. And I think he has a good challenge here, folks. I think this is going to get overturned, but let's see it. Indeed, it is a ball. So the called strike is overturned. It is a ball. It missed the top part of the zone by 1 full inch even. And the count is 2-2. Now, coming set is O'Brien. And the 2-2 pitch. A sweeper down in the dirt, out of the zone. The count is full, 3-2. The Cubs used to do a 45-game package of tickets for opening day, weekend, and night games. My dad used to split it with 4 people, so I went to plenty of games at Wrigley Field in the 90s. Nice. That's really nice. It's a cool place to see a game. He sets the 3-2. Hit on out there in the right field and just foul. Oh, boy, did not miss by much. It missed by maybe an inch from, coughing up chalk down there the right field line. So the count remains 3-2. And holiday games, okay. So nobody on with one out, top of the 9th inning, all tied at 2. It's a 3-2 count here to Pete Crow Armstrong. 11 pitches so far for Riley O'Brien. On deck is Seiya Suzuki. Coming set is O'Brien. Now the 3-2. Popped up behind the plate and out of play on the sinker in. The count remains 3-2. So there's definitely a battle on the mound happening here. 7 pitches so far in this at-bat to Pete Crow Armstrong. Coming sets O'Brien. Now the 3-2. Hit on out there into left field. Coming over is Torres. He dives. He makes the catch with a diving head-first catch for the second out of the inning. A wonderful play there in left center field by Brian Torres. Had it got past him, Pete Crow Armstrong would have definitely been on second, if not third. And that is the second out of the inning. Oh, what a play there in left center by Brian Torres. The 29-year-old rookie, 11 years in the minors and the independent league, finally cracked the big leagues this year. Been a very useful piece for the Cardinals. Now, the first pitch is Suzuki. Strike, sweeper down Broadway, and the count is 0-1. Nobody on with 2 out here in the top of the 9th inning, all tied at 2. Righty-righty matchup. Coming sets O'Brien. Pius sets up away. The 0-1. A sinker just misses the outside corner, and it is low, and the count is 1-1. O'Brien sets at the belt. The 1-1. Strike, sinker on the outer third, knee high, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Suzuki struck out, ground out, walked, and walked. He's 0 for 2. Coming sets O'Brien, the 1-2. There's a fly ball out to left field. Right there is Brian Torres. Comes in a couple of steps. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks. Nobody left on. After 8.5 innings of play, it is all tied at 2 going to the bottom of the 9th inning. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. All tied at 2 going bottom of 9. Okay. Well, Derek White, I hope you're right. We shall see. We shall definitely see. 2 up for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th inning is Blaze Jordan, Jose Fermin, who pinch hit for Nate Church earlier. He's been out in center field. And then J.J. Weatherall, who tied this game at 2 in the bottom of the 7th inning with that solo home run to right. So 8, 9, and 1 in the Cardinal order. We'll see if Council keeps Hollowell in the game. But whatever the case is, another tight one here in the finale. Oh, it's very exciting, Jaswell. This is fun stuff. Oh, Harold. Maybe, Ethan. We'll see. Good to have you back. Harold, Bombers Game Mike with Big Paul D is where it's at. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday afternoon. Thank you all so much for spending part of it with me here on Game Mike. We have another one here in the works. Another tight finish. We'll see what happens, won't we? I think so. Back for the bottom of the 9th. 8, 9, and 1 for the Cardinals. And they are going to Webb. The 32-year-old right-hander. 47 games is 3-2 with a 2.72. The first pitch to Blaze Jordan. A slider downstairs and out of the zone. The count is 1-0 to Blaze Jordan. Now, Webb comes set. The 1-0. A slider down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. Now, Webb comes set. He deals. Head on up the middle. Picked up there by Nico Horner to the right of second. Throws to first in time to get Blaze Jordan. So Blaze Jordan grounds out 4-3 for the first out here in the bottom of the 9th. Braylon Beasley. Hey, Paul, just checking in. How's it going? A tight game, Braylon. A very tight game. All tied at 2 here at the bottom of the 9th. Now, here's Jose Fermin. Nobody on with 1 out. Righty-righty matchup. Bottom of the 9th, all tied at 2. Webb is in for the Cubs. And the first pitch. Hit to the left side. And booted by Bregman there at third. And Fermin will reach first there on what will probably be ruled an error. That was a play that I think Alex Bregman would tell you he should have made. And now the Cardinals have a runner on first with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And here comes J.J. Weatherall. His last at-bat in the bottom of the 7th, a solo home run to tie it all up at 2. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup with the righty Webb on the mound. We'll see where it goes. Runner on first with one out. Coming set is Webb. Now the first pitch to Weatherall. A 4-seam fastball away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Braylon Beasley with the $5 super. Will the Birds clutch up again? Boy, I sure hope so, Braylon. I really do. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated, and it helps a lot. Now the 1-0 pitch. Swinging strike on the changeup away, and the count is 1-1 to J.J. Weatherall. Infield defense very heavily shaded towards right. Alex Bregman equidistant between second and third. He plays even with the bags. It's a 1-1 count. Runner leads off first with one out. And Webb bluffs over towards first. Fairmean was going nowhere, in all likelihood. And the count remains 1-1. Now Webb comes set. And the 1-1. Strike, change up on the inner third at the knees, and the count is 1-2 to J.J. Weatherall. Runner on first, one out. Bottom of the ninth, all tied at 2. Another tight one here on the getaway day businessman special. After day, they head to Toronto. Coming sets Webb, the 1-2. Hit to the right side, picked up by Nico Horner. He throws the second one on to first, not nearly in time. Nico Horner had a little bit of trouble there on the transfer, which delayed him just enough for J.J. Weatherall to reach on the fielder's choice, so that's the second out. They get the force at second. That erases Jose Fairmean. Now here comes Jordan Walker with a runner on first and 2 out. All tied at 2, bottom of the ninth inning. If there's a time to break out of it, right here is that time. Righty-righty matchup. Webb comes set. He deals. There's a fly ball out to left field. Going back is Ian Happ in front of the wall. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. Getting under it just a bit too much off the bat of Jordan Walker. Lands safely in the glove of Ian Happ on the warning track for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, 1 error, 1 left on. We are all tied at 2 going to the top of the 10th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Free baseball, all tied at 2 going to the top of the 10th. Okay. Free baseball again indeed, Hodag. Good to see you. Oh, yes. That's right. The Ghost Runner. The oft-lamented, or as it likes to be called by some people, the Manfred Runner. I think that's rather fitting. They're showing the Abbott no-hitter there against the Red Sox back on the 4th of July in the early 80s. The man threw a no-hitter with one arm. Well, rather one hand, I should say. Still an incredible thing. Oh, the Bombers, they're back. They're in extras, yeah. They did not have so much luck there last night. That snap down, throw down to third. That was a bad job. Yeah, I'm on the same page with you there, Harold. I've never dug it. Never have, never could. All right, here is Luis Gastelum, who also pitched the 10th last night. In 9 games, 9 inning pitch, a 6 ERA with a 1.67 whip. He will face Michael Busch, Alex Bregman, and Ian Happ, so 3, 4, and 5 in the Cubs order. Ghost runner down at second. It looks to be Suzuki. Now the first pitch. A 4-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. It's a righty-lefty matchup with the righty Gastelum against the lefty Busch, who's 2 for 4. The Suzuki leads off second. I think that's him. The 1-0. A changeup down and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. And a $1 super once again by Jeff Coleman. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff. Now he comes set. Runner leads off second, the 2-0. Swinging strike on the changeup down and in, and the count is 2-1. Yes, indeed, Scorple. Now Gastelum sets. And the 2-1. Foul tipped on the four-seam fastball. Rolls over towards the Cardinal on deck circle. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2. Gastelum is getting back onto the bump. Runner leads off second. In the box is Michael Bush. Gastelum sets. Gastelum deals. A changeup away and out of the zone. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gastelum marches back to the top of the bump. He comes set. And the 3-2. Hit to the right side. Picked up there by Burleson. Takes it to the bag himself for the first out of the inning. The runner moves down from second to third, so it was a productive out to the right side by Michael Bush. And now the Cubs have a runner on third with 1 out here in the top of the 10th inning, all tied at 2. And here comes Alex Bregman. And you know for sure that he wants to redeem himself from that booted ball back in the bottom of the 9th. Righty-righty matchup. Runner leads off third with 1 out. The first pitch. A sinker inside out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Derek White with the $10 super. Here is your extra innings overtime payment. Well, thank you, Derek White. Now the 1-0. A sweeper away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. No, it's remarkably generous. And I thank you and every one of you who have donated a super chat, both in this game and prior. It's both very much appreciated, and it helps a ton. Now, Gastelum comes set. The 2-0 pitch. Strike, sweeper down Broadway, and the count is 2-1 to Alex Bregman. Yes. Cheers to you, Derek White. I raised my drink. Gastelum sets the 2-1. Fouled back on the sinker, up and in, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. So a runner on third with 1 out. Top of the 10th inning, all tied at 2. It's a 2-2 count here to Alex Bregman. Gastelum, he comes set. Now the 2-2. Just gets a piece of that sweeper down and away, spoils it off, and the count is 2-2. A very tight game here in extras. Could have sworn this happened sometime in the last day, but I forget. Now Gastelum sets. The 2-2 offering. Hit to the right side and into right field. Down the line for a base hit. Scoring easily from third is the runner. Going into second with a sliding 1-out double is Alex Bregman. And he has an RBI double to right. And that'll break up the stalemate. And the Cubs now have a 3-2 lead. Alex Bregman is having one incredible series, to say the very least. Just got a piece of that thing. It went down the right field line. Nobody had any chance at it. So the Cardinals know their remit now. Runner on second with 1 out. Here's Ian Happ. Righty-lefty matchup. Happ is 0 for 4. The first pitch from Gastelum. Strike. Sweeper down Broadway, and the count is 0-1. Ian Happ 0 for 4 with 3 groundouts and a foul out. It's a righty-lefty matchup. He comes set. The 0-1. Hit to the right side and into right field, down the line for a base hit. Scoring easily from second is Alex Bregman, picked up out there by Nootbaar, and he has himself a stand-up 1-out RBI double, does Ian Happ, and that will give the Cubs a 4-2 lead. So a couple of very clutch hits there by the middle of this Cubs order by way of Bregman and Happ. And the Cardinals have one heck of a hole to get themselves out of in the bottom of the 10th, if indeed they want to salvage this final game. I completely concur, Justin Beasley. Now here is Nico Horner. 3 for 4 this afternoon. Runner on second with 1 out. It's a righty-righty matchup. Gastelum comes set. And the first pitch to Horner. A sinker away, rule the ball. The count is 1-0. Runner leads off second. Gastelum sets at the belt. He deals. Strike, sweeper on the outer third below the belt. The count is 1-1. Happ leads off second with 1 out. Gastelum comes set. He deals. Hit out there into right field. Right there is Newpar. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Staying right there at second is Ian Happ. So there's the second out. Now here is Pedro Ramirez. He is going to be the pinch hitter here for Michael Conforto. For Dean, who is out in right for defensive purposes back in the bottom of the 9th. Righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch to Ramirez. Hit on up in front of home plate, but it ends up rolling foul. Counts 0-1. Ramirez is hitting .315 this year with .828 OPS. In 35 games, a home run, 14 RBIs. The runner still stands out there at second with 2 out. And there's a little bit of a chat going out there on the mound between Gastelum, Pages, and Mason Wynn. To think the sweet nothings they are whispering into Gastelum's ears. And the powwow is broken up. Wynn heads back out to short. Pages behind the dish, and Gastelum on the bump. Happ leads off second. It's no one count to Pedro Ramirez. Coming set is Gastelum. Now the 0-1. A four-seam fastball up and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Hey, good to see you, Zim. I'm doing okay, under the circumstances. Now he comes set. How are you? The 1-1. A sweeper down and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. Ian Happ leads off second with 2 outs. A 2-1 count. 4-2 Cubs. 2 already in here on the top of the 10th. Off the bats of Bregman and Happ. Now the 2-1. Hit to the right side. Picked up there by Mason Wynn to the right of second. He throws to first in time to get Pedro Ramirez for the third and final out of the inning. However, the Cubs, they push 2 across off the bats of Alex Bregman and Ian Happ, and they have a 4-2 lead going to the bottom of the 10th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. 4-2 Cubs going to bottom of 10. Okay. Well, they did it last night. Can they do it again? That is the question that remains, folks. Can they do it again? Do I think they can win this game? Of course I think they can win this game, David. Now, whether they do so or not is, of course, a very different question. I don't mean to be pedantic. The team doesn't give up. Results aside, they're very persistent. We'll see what happens, David. We saw it happen last night. It can happen again. There's no reason that I'd say it shouldn't. There's no reason that it couldn't. But these are professional hitters. They do their thing. Due up in the bottom of the 10th inning is going to be Burleson, followed by Pajes and Newpar. Let's see who's on the bench. Well, the last piece that Ollie Marmol has on the bench is Jimmy Crooks. And I guess who do you want up more, Pedro Pajes or Jimmy Crooks? Webb is out for his second frame of work. So Burleson, Pajes, and Newpar. And Jordan Walker will be the Manfred runner down at second. Honestly, Steve, I'm not sure that he has one. But he's down there at second. He's the Manfred runner. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's Alec Burleson. He's 1 for 3. And the first pitch. A curveball just misses the outside corner. It's ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. 1 for 3 for Burley this afternoon. Coming set is Webb. Now the 1-0. A changeup up and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-0 to Alec Burleson. They're playing no doubles defense, that much is sure. He comes set. And the 2-0. Swinging strike on the changeup down and in. Swinging over the top of that change was Burleson. The count is 2-1. You're very welcome, Harold. Now he comes set. And deals. A four-seam fastball outside and ruled a ball. The count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Now coming set is Webb. And the 3-1. Swinging strike on the changeup down and away. Excellent arm side action on that changeup from Webb. Swinging over the top of that one going down and away was Burleson. And the count is 3-2. On deck is Pedro Pajes. He comes set. Now the 3-2. Hit on out there into center field. Coming in is Pete Crow Armstrong. He makes the catch with a diving feet first catch for the first out of the inning. PCA came charging in on that ball. Slid feet first. Got it just in time before accidentally, by very nearly trapping it, but he did not. It was a clean catch, and that's the first out of the inning. A very fine play out there defensively by PCA for the first out. Now here comes Pedro Pajes. Up. Is it going to be Jimmy Crooks or Pajes? Let's see. Well, Craig Counsell, it looks like he's going to a right-hander here, so we have ourselves a pitching change with a runner on second. Let's see where he's going. Savale, the right-hander. So we have ourselves a pitching change with the runner on second. 1 out, bottom of the 10th inning. 4-2 Cubs. Jimmy Crooks is due up. All right. Let's get you those numbers on the reliever here once they give it to us. Savale coming in. So we're waiting for the pitching change here. Once I have the numbers, I'll give them to you. Okay. 31-year-old right-hander Aaron Savale. In 18 games this year, he's 5-7 with a 5.35 ERA and 79 innings pitched even. 63 strikeouts in that span and a whip of 1.62 for Aaron Savale. 6'1", 245 pounds. He's a big guy. So we're going to get ourselves a pinch hitter here by way of Jimmy Crooks for Pages. And that is the last piece on the bench that Ollie Marble has to use. This pitching change is brought to you by Red Bull. It gives you wings. Thank you, Justin. Aaron Tabali gave you his number just a moment ago. He will face Jimmy Crooks. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. Jordan Walker leads off second. And the first pitch. A curveball away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Now he comes set. And the 1-0 pitch. There's a fly ball out to shallow right center field. Coming in underneath it is Pete Crow Armstrong. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So the Cardinals are down to their final out. And that comes in the person, the player, the man, Lars Nootbaar. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. We shall see, folks. Now, Sabali comes set. And the first pitch. Hit foul down the left field line and out of play. And the count is no balls and one strike. After today's game, they hit the road to Toronto. I believe it's a 6:07 p.m. Central start time. Coming set is Savale, the 0-1. A curveball down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. I'll be live here for the first game against the Blue Jays in Toronto at 5:55 p.m. Central Time. Everybody is on their feet down at Busch, as you can imagine. Runner on second with 2 outs, 1-1 count. Bottom of 10, 4-2 Cubs. And the 1-1 pitch. A splitter away and out of the zone to Nootbaar, and the count is 2-1. Newt is 0 for 3 with a walk. Savali comes set. Now the 2-1. There goes the runner. Foul tipped off the foot there of Nootbaar, and the count is even at 2-2. So Nootbaar, and by extension the Cardinals, are 1 strike away. Savali gets himself back onto the bump. Into the box is Nootbaar. Savali sets. Walker leads off second with 2 out. He deals. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play on the curveball away, and the count remains 2-2. 150 likes. Thank you all so much. That's awesome. Over a couple of days in a row over 150. Now he comes set. And the 2-2. A four-seam fastball down and in, well out of the zone. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Lars Nootbaar. Savali sets. The 3-2. Swinging strike 3. Down heckin' goes Nootbaar, and that is your final. 4-2 Cubs in 10 innings. They take 3 of 4 in this 4-game weekend set. So 4-2 Northsiders is your final. As a programming note, for tomorrow night in Toronto, first pitch is scheduled for 6:07 p.m. Central Time. First pitch from Rogers Center. I'll be live here on Game Mike at 5:55 p.m. Central Time. So 6:07 p.m. against the Blue Jays tomorrow in Toronto at Rogers Center. I'll be live here on Game Mike with the play-by-play stream at 5:55 p.m. I'd like to thank you all so much 3-4, joining me here on part of your Thursday afternoon here on Game Mike. A disappointing final here in 10. 4-2 Cubs is your final. They take 3 of 4 in this 4-game set. Sinbin, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming by. Cheers to that, Justin Beasley. Jimmy, great call, Paul. Well, thank you, Jimmy. Harold, I know how you're feeling. DJ Nick Fly, thanks, Paul. Have a good evening, everybody. You too, DJ Nick Fly. Doge Bowl, thanks, Paul, and baseball fans everywhere. You got it, Doge. Jeff Coleman. Well, thank you, Paul D. Got to get back on that winning result. You know it, Jeff. Cheers to that. I'll look out for your email. So, 4-2 Cubs is your final. They take 3 of 4 in this 4-game set. I'd like to thank you all so much for spending part of your Thursday afternoon here with me on Game Mike. Well, we can only hope, Sinbin. Harold Houseman, great call, Paul. Have a good one, chat. See you all tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Harold. You take care of yourself. This has been a presentation of Bombers Game Mike. I'll be back here at 5:55 p.m. tomorrow with the play-by-play live stream for the 6:07 p.m. Central Tart Time against the Blue Jays north of the border in Toronto at Rogers Center. I'm Paul D., and this has been Bombers Game Mike. Bombers Game Mike, over and out. Be well, both you and yours, wherever you may be. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all tomorrow.